That's Noiseworthy.
And we welcome you in on this Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Everybody getting back into the swing of things today. We were out yesterday for our show. Back in today, Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. Dave Woloshin out today. He's out in observance of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, a week from Thursday. He'll be out then. He'll be back with us tomorrow. So in with me today, Gabe Kuhn. You've heard him with John Harden a lot of the afternoon. He's in with me today, and Bryant Dacus, as always, doing a great job producing. Jay Morgan Harder also helping out. So we want you to join us today at 901-360-8255 via the AutoZone text or phone line. Get in the zone at AutoZone at 901-360-8255. I want to hear if everybody's having withdrawals like I am, Gabe. This is the closest thing I've ever felt to a heroin addict in my life. I need college football. I went 5 days with it in both veins, and now I don't have it.
It'll be back soon. We'll make it.
We'll try to make it.
I mean, it was fun to see people back in the stands in a big way. It's always great to see people get back into the swing of things, and obviously there were some upsets this weekend.
A bunch of upsets, and I heard you earlier today talking about the Arkansas State wide receiver performance against Central Arkansas, FCS. But this weekend, a lot of FCS teams either scared the daylights out of a FBS team or the outright upset of those. And for me, I'm always on guard, even this week for Ole Miss against Austin Peay. Look, after 2010 and losing opening day to Jacksonville State, until that clock has 4 zeros on it.
You're pulling a Lou Holtz?
I'm scared to death after that event in 2010. Arkansas had that once upon a time against the Citadel. Mississippi State had it one time against Maine. The Justin Fuente era began at the University of Memphis with a loss to UT Martin. So a lot of people either had that near-death experience or, like losing to Jacksonville State, that experience, and you never get that out of your mind. But there were a lot of FCS upsets this weekend, so there's a lot of good players a lot of different places. I want to hear from people today. How did you consume your football this weekend? Did you go to a game? Did you watch at home every single game like a lot of people I'm sure did? Was it at the lake? Was it at a dove hunt? Was it a little bit of that and you went to a game? Did you go to Fayetteville? Did you go to Starkville? Did you go to Atlanta? Did you go to Knoxville on Thursday night? Did you go out to the Liberty Bowl Saturday night for the Tigers win over Nichols, where they, what did we finally, the line go off at Friday, Bryant?
I think it was 23.5.
Tigers got there. I mean, how much more could you want from that? I thought a good opening night for them. So we want you to jump in with us today at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone text and phone line. Gabe, I know you had a big weekend. I had a big weekend. I enjoyed Saturday night, talking about seeing people back out in the stands. Saturday night in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. I was there, sadly for my Tech friends. It was for a tough loss, 22-21 to Northern Illinois, but sat out in the stands with friends, and it was great to be out. And I mean, Gabe, just delightful Saturday night to be out. But late in the game, I could have used some sleeves.
That was a nice close game.
Good game, but a horrible injury.
I was going to say, I don't think Georgia Tech fans wanted it to be a close game.
No, they didn't. Northern Illinois player suffered that tibia injury where as soon as the trainers got out to him, they saw
air cast,
compound fracture. Yeah. And nicely and fortunately not shown on the video board again at Bobby Dodd Stadium. It's fun to be on the Tech campus. First time in my life for me to do that. Been promising really two brothers that grew up as just best family friends for us, and one of them went to Tech as a freshman in the fall of 1977, and he has been inviting me for 44 years, and I finally cashed it in and got to go with him and his wife and their oldest daughter, and it was delightful. And then last night I was with the Ole Miss Rebels at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium when they won over Louisville. Want to get people's thoughts on that. I thought it was a lot to pick from with Ole Miss, a lot of good and plenty to work on, Gabe.
Yes, and a lot of targeting calls.
Oh, man.
That's what really stole
Hold
the
it.
show.
We just got another whistle. I just targeted you.
Oh my gosh! And yeah, here's the thing with the targeting is I think
every one of them was appropriate by letter of the rule.
Yes, by letter of the rule, and I think people get unnecessarily mad at referees in those situations when referees really just have to make the call to the best of their ability. But I think we need to start drawing more clear lines on what targeting is.
Some discernment for sure.
Because sometimes I'm watching games that I think it's an obvious target and they don't call it, and sometimes I think that there's no way they can call it targeting and they do.
Should it just be helmet to helmet, head to head? Because by letter of the rule, if you bow that head, if the top of that helmet hits his big toe, that is targeting.
Right, and if you lower your head, and if you watch running backs in general, they have to lower their head to go get those extra yards at the end of a run. So it's just tough.
Tell Derrick Henry about it.
And it's so hard for a defensive player to avoid a head-to-head collision when the offensive player is trying to lower their pads.
Yeah, you don't know what the strike zone is.
Right, but but there are obvious ones though on the kick return. That was he speared him directly in the head, launched directly at the head. So I mean, I want the lines to be drawn.
Should we have fouls like in basketball?
Flagrant 1, flagrant 2.
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility.
We
don't get kicked out for, 1 you do.
At least we no longer make them have the walk of shame. That was so ridiculous for the GA to go over and literally, almost, scarlet letter. This is the offending party and walk them to the locker room.
And does it matter if they're on the sideline? No,
not at all. There's a lot of people on the sideline, isn't it?
Really, there is.
There'd be people a lot of
support
Saturdays
staff
on the sideline that you didn't even know, wasn't it?
Half of them.
Yeah.
Half of them I didn't even know. The support staff, all the friends down there with the passes, it was ridiculous.
And home games, a lot of practice players get to dress out that have no scenario they're going in the game.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very, very true. A lot of red shirts.
A lot of red shirts. And you mentioned all the passes, boosters and stuff. I've said for years we're going to have a terrible injury on the sideline. And, of course, then we're going to have the huge overreaction when we do, and they'll throw everybody off the sideline, including sideline reporters, for a year.
We need netting. Like in the MLB, catch them.
We could get close to it. I mean, the overreaction will be out there. It was so much football, national, local, AAC, SEC. We want your thoughts on it because we're going to have a lot of thoughts, including at 3:30. Gabe and I will go, and Brian as well. We will dissect the Tigers and Nichols. That game, 1-0 for the Tigers. Great start. Now we know the opponent for this week, but this will be more about last week before we start the next week thing. At 4 o'clock, Brent Beard on college football. Around 3:50, it's going to be more of the national college football picture. Brent Beard on AAC, ACC, and SEC. Gabe, I don't know in the history of conferences, any conference had a worse week in a single week than the AAC did last week, between losing teams to the Big 12 and really the gold star of the weekend was a narrow loss for Tulane against OU.
Yes, and the UC Davis Tulsa game, people thought Tulsa would be back there this year like they were last year and be a good team and be a competitive team, and it just does not look like that this year. And Temple.
No, I was on upset alert for Cal Davis. I was scared of that when I didn't trust Tulsa from
I think a lot of people
last year.
thought that one.
Yeah, and probably the best win was UCF's win over Boise State, but that took in comeback style on Thursday night. The ACC, they didn't have as bad off the field, but they had a rough one on the field.
They did. They sure did. I felt bad for the ACC this weekend.
And the Clemson offensive line.
Oh, gosh.
Battered, beaten, and bruised.
It was, well,
the Georgia D-line was yo-yo.
If you're going to give up 7 sacks, at least run the ball for more than 2 yards. That's all I have to say. And people are getting mad at DJU, and I understand. He wasn't great, and he did throw the pick six.
Zero time.
And he did throw the pick six that lost them the game. I get that, and he was, an early Heisman favorite. But he had no chance back there.
He had no chance. Clemson rushed for 2 more yards this weekend than I did.
And then Miami getting absolutely pounded. But here's the thing. You know what always cracks me up is I think every year with Bama, Texas A&M is always the upset alert game. be ready for Texas A&M to stick in there against Bama. They have a chance to upset them. And then always, if there's a early non-conference game against a decent opponent, everyone tries to say, oh, Bama's on upset alert this week. It wasn't even close.
Never.
For a second of that game.
Total domination. Derek King looked exactly like I thought he would look against Alabama, and it was mostly loss. You can look at his completion percentage and be a little deceived, but also you can look over there and see the 2 interceptions and the really paltry yardage numbers. At 4:30, first visit of the year from Jeff Moore, the former Tennessee Vol and Los Angeles Ram. He will join us talking NFL. He will unveil his AFC and NFC championship game picks, winners, and Super Bowl 56. More college football about 4:45. And then Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. He joins us every week on the National Football League. Last week we did the AFC. This week we do NFC, playoffs, MVP of the NFC, Rookie of the Year in the NFC, Coach of the Year in the NFC, and see what surprises are in store there. And then about 5:30, we'll check everything that's trending from sports today. I'm sure news will break as the day's gone on, and we'll wrap it up about 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. As always, Gabe, we are in our Family Leisure Studios.
We sure are. Where family and fun come together. It's time to get out of the house and go buy Family Leisure. Great pricing on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active. Play gyms in stock and ready for delivery. And there's markdowns on remaining game room products and massage chairs. Hot tubs are still going fast. I know it's not cold yet, but plan ahead. Reserve yours now before the cold weather comes. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, where family and fun come together.
I can assure everybody out there that might be worried about the phlegmatic sound in my voice. It's nothing to do with COVID. I feel great, double vaxxed. It's a matter of getting back to the room.
A little bit of travel.
It's the room last night, Central Time, about 12:45, 12:50, and up Central Time at 5 and leaving at 5:30. And the hotel HVAC, either a frozen tundra or a sauna. No happy medium.
You turn it down when you get in there?
No. I can't stand anything cold.
Really? I said if I'm at a hotel room, I'm
you go
turning
58?
That down. Oh my gosh. Maybe less. Whatever the lowest setting is. In the hotels, but you can set them all the way
here's
down
my
there.
Conspiracy theory.
Okay.
You can put it down on 42. They've got a master control that won't let you blow their air conditioning.
It's still
bill
cold
out.
in there. Still nice and cold in there, though.
Oh, you brought your home temperature with you, huh?
They're not trying to run up the bill.
You know when you're cool or not, huh?
Yeah.
Most people they do know that. We want your input on college football. 901-360-8255. What games you go to? How'd you consume college football this weekend? Record TV ratings. Haven't seen an official rating from last night's Ole Miss and Louisville game, but it had to have the trend of the whole weekend from Thursday on, whether it was ESPN games, ABC games, Fox games, across college football. The numbers were incredible. And this week, when the National Football League unveils season 102 on Thursday night, their numbers will be big. NFL Week 1, it's here. The fridge is stocked. The recliner is ready. Now, all you need to do is log into FanDuel Sportsbook and claim your risk-free bet. That's right. FanDuel is giving all customers a risk-free bet just in time for Week 1 of the NFL season. I love the Bucs on Thursday night over the Cowboys. The Cowboys, even if they lose this game, they still can recover and win the NFC East, and they probably have this one written down as L. They'll get that L to the Bucs on Thursday night. America's #1 sports book is at FanDuel. Easy to use, fast payout. Use FanDuel Sportsbook on any Week 1 game. Bet the money line or take the over. Throw some action on a prop bet or build a same-game parlay bet. So many ways to play and have fun. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code CASH to also receive a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be present in Tennessee, 21 and older. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show, every day, brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity September fall sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and special lease options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story of the day. Week 1 of college football has come and gone, and I am so excited that it's back. I'm so happy fans get to enjoy it this year, and I'm so happy that we already have a shakeup in the top 25 because we had a Georgia and Clemson game in week 1 that was very, very telling. AP top 25 releases today. Number 1, Alabama, 59 votes as the number 1 team. 2, Georgia gets that nod, 4 votes. 3, Ohio State, 4, Oklahoma, 5, Texas A&M. Texas A&M comes ahead of Clemson, who's at 6, Cincinnati at 7, 8, Notre Dame, 9, Iowa State, 10, Iowa. And there should be a shakeup there at 9 and 10 because Iowa and Iowa State play this weekend in the Cy-Hawk game. I'm just so excited to see all of these teams back in action, some names I haven't gotten to see in quite a while. I know you are as well.
Gabe, you remember in the summertime when we did our first college football top 10, we both had Iowa and Iowa State in our top 10.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Iowa State didn't play all that well this weekend. Very, very close with Northern Iowa. Iowa played very, very well. I don't know if that's also Indiana not playing so well. Poor Michael Penix.
We'll get to the rest of the top 25 for this week. AP out today because waiting through last night's game. And Ole Miss cracks in at number 20 from non-ranked to 20 this week out of the poll. Into the poll. My top story, blockbuster start to college football. If you would have sat down in Hollywood with the industry moguls at the studios and said, let's write the best script from Thursday through Monday for college football, I don't know if you could have come up with all this. A lot of the same names, Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma, and some classic performances. I thought that was a classic performance by Georgia. Gabe, we're just not used to watching those kind of games anymore. It was so good to see and feel the energy of college football, to hear the bands, to see the fans, to see the students, to see the cheerleaders, to be out at tailgates, to enjoy the time with new and old friends alike. No vibe like a college football game. None for me. I have to have it, and I am ready this Saturday to finally get back to the crown jewel of tailgating, the Grove, this Saturday, and it's always special. This Saturday, it will be extra special.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day. Obviously, I could go the applications to the Big 12, BYU, UCF, Cincy, and Houston. For Memphis, that's a not top story. They're moving on to the Big 12. It should be 2023. That's the year. But my not top story has to do with Randy Edsall stepping down at UConn. Lost 38-28 to Holy Cross, obviously an FCS school. And it was terrible. That second stint he had at UConn, 6-32. And the first one, just to think about how proud it was at that moment in the Big East, winning the Big East, going to decent BCS bowl games, going to just bowl games every year. He put them on the map, and I think that time
Skip Holtz did a good job before him, but he really did the on-the-map job.
But came and went. Their DC, Lou Spanos, will take over. And if I gave you an over-under at 2.5 on how long that football program is in existence, what would you take? In
existence as a member of FBS, or just
in existence?
Owning blocking sleds,
yes.
having helmets.
Yes.
I would go over, but it could be a diminution. They could.
You think they'll fall down to 1AA?
Villanova.
Okay.
Understood. And Villanova plays big-time FCS football. But it is from what they got to now, and for Randy Edsall, round 2 at most places. I know it's working out for now for Mack Brown in his second stint at North Carolina. But, Gabe, you go back through the history of college football, that second tour of duty, Johnny Majors, the second time at Pitt, it wasn't like that first one. John Robinson at USC, didn't quite work out. Very rarely do they work out like that first go-around that made their chops, that they became mostly beloved for. My not top story, Ed Orgeron, meet Gene Chizik. That's going to be the comparison for a lot of people. Everything lined up for a really poor coach in Ed Orgeron, and he had a once-in-a-lifetime player, and that was Joe Burrow. Like Gene Chizik at one time had Cam Newton, a once-in-a-lifetime player. Then after that, left to their own devices, not very good. And when Ed Orgeron, and remember when Ed Orgeron said LSU had caught Alabama after that 6-point win at Tuscaloosa 2 years ago. 6-point win. Didn't beat them, 38-6. Beat them by 6. They hadn't caught Alabama on the field. They had caught them in the expectation game, and now that's what he's being held to, and he's simply not capable of any consistency other than volatility. That's what we've known of Ed Orgeron since Ole Miss. That's what you've known of him as an assistant coach, and that's what it's been marked by at LSU. Gabe, I want to ask you kind of a high hard one.
Right.
With the NIL now, is it more in bounds for someone like me that's been very, very, very slow through the years to ever criticize hard a college football or basketball player? I've just always wanted to keep in mind 18, 19,
right.
20, 21, somebody's child. What if it was mine? Would I want – now, I'm not talking about being, irresponsible, but is it a little more in bounds now to criticize a college player than it used to be because they are being paid?
I think they've always been criticized to a certain extent. I don't know if I would go
what
with
about for ones that didn't, though, like me, like ones that wouldn't do it? Because if you say, yes, I'm getting ready to do it, Derek Stingley, if you say, no, I'm not going to.
Well, here's the old thing is they're 18, 19, 20. They're still 18, 19, 20. So I guess it depends how you feel about that.
And they're being paid.
And they're being paid. I don't think there's any change, Brett. I don't think there's any change. That's how I feel about it.
But Saturday, Derek Stingley's performance was poor, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was poor, and also I think that LSU's trenches are embarrassing.
Oh, wow.
Offensive line, defensive
47
line.
yards rushing for
something
LSU.
that you would just come to sort of count on, getting the 4 and 5 stars in the O-line and D-lines in regards to recruiting, giving up 117 yards to Zach Charbonnet. What they rushed for, 52 yards.
And the comeback, the comeback to somebody that would criticize Derek Stingley's effort Saturday, you can still say this: don't blame him. Blame the grown men that are making all the money, making a lot more than he's making. How did they not have him ready, prepared to play harder than that?
I just don't know how at LSU you can be bad on the O-line and D-line against the UCLA team. 210 yards you give up rushing the ball. Only 53 yards you rush for. You ain't gonna win ball games that way. And
they had 53. I thought it was 47.
And I think that shows. I think that shows
either one.
Who's coaching you more than anything.
Yeah, and now feels like the wheels could really come off of LSU again this year, like they did last year. Didn't opening day 2020 and 2021 almost look the same for LSU and Mississippi State? State with the big fourth quarter comeback this year. They controlled the whole game last year on opening day against LSU. But the conversation around LSU feels like it's the same as it was a year ago.
Exact same for LSU.
And now LSU, they play McNeese State and then Central Michigan at home, and then they go to Starkville. I don't know that I trust them very much.
And they have so much talent on that team.
And I had them winning the West.
I like Max Johnson. I like Boutte. I like their defensive backfield. At least I thought I did, but it's just it's sad to see for the second straight year they lose an opener in the fashion that they did.
That's our top and not top story for this Tuesday afternoon. We want yours at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone text line for college football, how you consumed, how you watched, if you went to games near or far. We would love to hear from you this afternoon. When we come back, we talk Tigers and Nichols. 42-17 win for the Tigers Saturday at the Liberty Bowl. That's the discussion next.
You have opinions?
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. For example, in here, it's a wide selection of top-rated appliances, but out there, it's your home running like a well-oiled machine. Order in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app and get free delivery and flexible installation, so you save money and time. Right now, you can save big on a new Samsung kitchen package at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 15th, 2021. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter it in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday, 11A to 9P. Friday and Saturday, 11A to 10P. Regalia, Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare-Ya or the Double Dare-Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Bellyacres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Bellyacres.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Little Monday housekeeping from the games over the weekend. In SEC, just in our preseason picks, I go 12-2. Well, everybody missed LSU. Everybody missed Vandy. In the AAC, I go 10-1. I had Tulsa winning the game outright. I didn't like them against the number, but they lose, so I go 10-1. Rushing statistic in the American, the team that rushed for the most yards won 9 of the 11 games, just in games involving the AAC. Mm-hmm. And the passing goes 9-2. In the SEC, I haven't figured it up yet, but going into last night, and Ole Miss won rushing and passing. I think rushing total won for the weekend by 1 or 2 games. Gabe, I'm going to your list for the AAC. You go 10-1.
Okay.
First week. Your only miss, Tulsa. And Dave's for the weekend in let me get you your SEC. Where is your SEC? I have it somewhere in here. Here it is. SEC, you go 12-2 for week 1. You had the miss on LSU and Vandy. Boy, that got just about everybody, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did.
And, Brian, I still hadn't gotten yours that I can read. Are you getting it to me before this day ends?
I will get it to you. I forgot about that.
Boy, he gave it to me Friday. I said, got to redo.
It was a lot of scribbling on it.
It was some markouts. Have you seen it, Gabe?
I have not.
It was in Sanskrit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, CIA code breakers couldn't break it.
You used a pen. You probably should have used a pencil.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dave, for the SEC, he goes 12-2, but Dave takes one on the chin in the AAC. Goes 11-4, missed on East Carolina over at App State missed over on Houston over Texas Tech in a wild game. Everybody missed Tulsa in the upset loss they had to Cal Davis. And Dave missed on one more. He had Boise State defeating Central Florida, and that was a big comeback. But Saturday at the Liberty Bowl, Dave's team, Gabe's team, Bryant's team, the hometown team, the Memphis Tigers, 42-17 over Nichols. I saw a lot of great things that happened Saturday night. It looks like it's Seth Hennigan's job until it's not.
It is Seth Hennigan's job, and also Grant Gunnell, for those that don't know, injured, don't know when he'll be back. They had a mention yesterday on the Silverfield show at
Did you know last week?
I knew about
I know you don't deal in rumor and innuendo.
I knew about his leg injury. I didn't know that it was severe to the point where it may need surgery, and that's what Coach Silverfield mentioned yesterday. He hasn't had surgery yet, Y-E-T, yet. So I don't know how severe it is, but clearly it's more severe than any of us thought. But Seth Hennigan looked good. I got to give him credit, and also he stayed upright. That was a very important part of it. But 19 for 32, 265 yards, 1 TD. Spread the ball around. Did not look like a true freshman. But I think you get a more accurate representation of what a guy like that will look like against an FBS opponent.
Bryant, you were there for WUMR. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Gabe was saying about Seth Hennigan, I think he showed a lot of things that you just can't teach. I mean, his pocket presence looked really good. And like you said, I mean, he did not look like a freshman. I thought the defense looked kind of subpar.
Yeah. Here's the thing, is first game, there's some things that the other team's going to throw at you, especially when you're playing an FCS opponent. Neither of the playbooks that you have on the offensive side or the defensive side of the ball, neither of them are open.
Right.
You're not going to blitz a lot. You're not going to create confusion.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a whole lot of that. And I think that's part of the reason the defense maybe had a couple of struggles. They didn't get after the quarterback at all. Did not do well. Did not have a single sack.
No, only one tackle for a loss.
Yeah, only one tackle for loss. So I think that has to do with them not opening up the playbook and bringing any types of blitzes. But we will get a more accurate representation of everything when they travel to Jonesboro.
It will be. I heard John Harden saying, I've said it, I don't see the slight in it when people use this verbiage. It will be Arkansas State's Super Bowl, especially hosting.
Yes. And he asked me a question about which one, when you talk about expectations, when you talk about being more nervous for, which one would the Tigers being more nervous for, I guess, is sort of the idea. And I think it's tough when you travel to a place like Jonesboro with expectations of, we have to win this game. We are 100% supposed to win this game.
The superior program.
Exactly. So you feel more pressure of expectations when you travel and play against a team from the Sun Belt that you've beaten a few times in a row, as opposed to playing at home against an SEC opponent.
It took all week. It was real late with the quarterback indecision, and Vegas doesn't let a lot of those FBS versus FCS lines fly until about 24, 36 hours out, and it was late in the week. We finally got that line on Friday afternoon, 23, 24, 25.
They usually move a lot.
We didn't pick it, but if we had, I would have picked Nichols just under the line. Never, ever thought that the Tigers would be upset, but I just thought they would hang around even closer than they did. And one of the bigger reasons why Memphis was able to make that look easy, only 6 penalties against 12 and 0 turnovers against 1 for Nichols.
Very, very true. And they ran the ball very comfortably. Even so, true freshman.
322. You got to like that, don't you?
True freshman.
Big guy room like that?
Yes, true freshman quarterback. You have to run the ball well. You can't make him uncomfortable. You can't make him try to do everything. And they did that. And we remember the last 6 games of last year, especially against FBS opponents. I think they did all right against Stephen F. Austin running the ball. But their last 6 FBS opponents, starting with that Cincinnati game where they had 5 yards, were just terrible. And Brandon Thomas looks like he is running the ball at a high level. Rodriguez Clark, who was the lead back last year, had a good game. So good job all around, I think, there.
Bryant, the vibe around Tiger Lane pregame Saturday, did you get out early enough to be able to experience any of it?
Yeah, I got to walk down for a couple minutes before I went in. And look, Tigers fans were ready to be back. I mean, I don't think it was obviously Labor Day. It wasn't the opening crowd you really wanted. I think it was announced 30,000, but obviously Labor Day and still the COVID had something to do about that. But the ones that were there,
FCS opponent,
there was a lot that went into it. But the fans that were there, they were ready to go. And I saw one sign, I'm sure y'all saw it. It was on all of Tiger's Twitter, but it said, "I need a shot of Tiger football." I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was a fun atmosphere, and a lot of people were ready to go.
We did. We all need the college football transfusion, and we got it over the weekend. And the Tigers got it with this win against Nichols. Nichols, I think every box kind of checked. A little bit like a lot of other teams from around college football. Gabe, first and foremost, you won. Second, opening night, it's a 12-act play. Got plenty to work on.
Yes, and I'm telling you, and this has sort of been a staple with Coach Norvell and Coach Silverfield. They don't open the playbook all that much in that first game, unless it's against a premier opponent, against Ole Miss, like it was in 2019. You open the playbook up, you try to use some of it. Although that day,
got to go to the wall on that.
Some ugly offense played that day. But against the FCS opponent, it always stays relatively close. Don't want to show your hand too early in the year. And with Coach Silverfield, it seems like he's not wanting to show his hand on much at all in regards to even with the quarterback situation. We didn't really figure out what was going on until game time when we saw Grant Gunnell sitting over there in shorts and a jersey. So
yeah, I'm not saying that I knew, but as the week wore on, I thought
you knew where it was headed.
It just felt like if it was going to be Gunnell, go ahead and tab him. And Brian, I think I got a Coca-Cola in the break room coming to me.
Technicalities, I think that one was nulled out. I think it was a technicality. He was injured. We didn't know he was injured.
Well, you didn't know he was injured, but he was on the depth chart.
He was on the depth chart, but he didn't dress, so that's a technicality.
Man, all those oars got in, didn't they? They got to play this weekend. But the Tigers, you mentioned the 147 from the running back, Brandon Thomas, from North Little Rock. The North Little Rock Charging Wildcats, big-time program, Gabe.
Didn't know about that. Learned it this weekend.
In North Little Rock, it obviously north of the Arkansas River, and it encompasses a lot of old school districts with consolidation. It's not as big as some of the Northwest Arkansas 6As, but it's a
6A though.
I would say with Little Rock Central, that would be the two biggest in the Little Rock metropolitan area. Cabot may be that big now, but big time. You'll remember several years ago, arguably number one back in the country, certainly was number one back in Arkansas, went to Alabama, didn't work out for him there, and then later he was tragically killed in an automobile accident. Alty Tenpenny, you remember that name?
Yes, I do.
And he's out of that program, and they run the ball. I mean, they love the trap, and Brandon Thomas with a big breakout game.
Yes, he looked good. He looks the part. But with all of these things that we saw against Nichols, I just have to get a better feel next week when they go to Jonesboro. They play another FBS opponent. But also, getting back to Arkansas, I had a bunch of teammates from the state of Arkansas. It's been I wouldn't say the focal point of recruiting for the Tigers, but it's a big one.
And the Tigers have always been able to get players out of Arkansas and help them in football and in basketball. And I think the number one Tiger of all time in basketball, just from West Memphis, Keith Lee, all-time leading scorer, all-time leading rebounder. I know he played 4 years, but that kind of buttresses my argument. But they've always been able to tap in there. It's good high school football. The high school basketball in Arkansas is great.
Yeah. Where at though? What are the big names?
All over. You can get it. You can get it from Fort Smith. You can get it from Northwest Arkansas. You can get it from Little Rock, Central Arkansas. You can get it from Pine Bluff, really Central Arkansas. You can get it across the state. You can get it in the eastern part of Arkansas and Blytheville, Jonesboro. I would probably say all time, both Blytheville High School and Jonesboro High, are they a football or a basketball school? I think I'd say basketball for both of them.
Interesting. But back to the Tigers really quick. I know that, Bryant, you mentioned defensively you didn't think that they were there. I looked at what they did, and I didn't see a whole lot of blitzing. I didn't see a whole lot of game plan.
Pretty vanilla.
Yes, I didn't see a whole lot of game planning. So I thought overall, giving up 299 yards, not giving up 200 yards, passing or 200 yards rushing. I thought all in all it was an okay outing. They just didn't show much.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Fun to be back high above the field at the Liberty Bowl, Brian?
Oh, it was great. It was great just to be back, see all those people I haven't seen in a year and a half. It was fun.
And it's a high perch. I always tell people be patient with any TV or radio play-by-play announcer because they're a long way from the action at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, it's high. It's very high.
You have
And I don't
good
like
eyes?
heights.
You have
I
good
have
eyes?
pretty good eyes. 20/20 vision.
Okay,
not
yes,
trying to flex or anything.
That's good eyes.
We had a really we weren't Loge. It was a little more high. It was a little higher than Loge last night at Mercedes-Benz for where they have radio, and the Louisville broadcast team was just one window to our left. You take the window out, and I could reach over and touch Paul Rogers most of the night. But it was a good view for TV for the ESPN crew, Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit. They were a level lower in a built-in TV studio perched right at midfield. We were actually on about the 20 or so.
So curious, how was the fan situation last night? Didn't look didn't look all that filled up.
No, it didn't. Packed Saturday for Bama and Miami, but not last night. I'm going to call it 10,000 Ole Miss fans, 2,000 or 3,000 Louisville fans, 5 or 6 locals.
Any reason in particular for the sort of lack of participation there? Or
from
just
the Ole
Monday,
Miss
Labor
perspective,
Day?
this is what I got. First of all, the price. I mean, it was a price point like it was a Super Bowl or Super Bowl from just a few years ago. I can't imagine what they are now. And you saw that with the TV shot as you're looking at it with the Ole Miss bench on the other side between the 20s. It was just almost nobody there. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did notice.
Well, there's a reason. No, I mean, you didn't even want to look over there at those tickets. They were so expensive. On both sides, 20 through around back around in a semicircle to the other 20, pretty decently priced, but they weren't cheap either. But really outrageously priced. And I think we have gotten a little used to not going. And Monday night, Labor Day, Lake, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you would think though that as it got closer to game time, the price point would dip down a little bit to try to get people into the stands.
Never did. And they never came off.
They were holding strong.
They did, and look, they banked plenty on Bama and Miami Saturday. So why give away something that you sold 48 hours prior to?
I guess so.
I don't get it.
That threw me off. That was pretty jarring to see the lack of fan experience there.
And it was fairly quiet in their stadium. Great. First time I've been there for a game. I'd been there at SEC Media Day several years ago on the Tuesday night of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game for a party. But the venue, it's great. When we come back, we'll talk the national college football scene. We'll get into Mike Norvell. We'll get into Justin Fuente, the Notre Dame win in across college football, the good win for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. National college football up next.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
Guns & Ammo has a full line of Pro Shot products, a tremendous selection of accessories from belts, holsters, gun cases, specialty boxes, Benchmade knives, and assorted optics. At Guns & Ammo, enjoy selecting all your favorite firearms, from hunting supplies to target shooting to self-defense. Experience the excellence at Guns & Ammo with a friendly, knowledgeable staff and hundreds of guns to choose from. Guns & Ammo, 3615 Summer Avenue, Memphis local, and supporting the NRA and Friends of the NRA. Guns & Ammo, family owned since 1985.
The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. For example, in here, it's a wide selection of top-rated appliances, but out there, it's your home running like a well-oiled machine. Order in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app and get free delivery and flexible installation, so you save money and time. Right now, you can save big on a new Samsung kitchen package at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 15th, 2021. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Alongside Gabe Kuhn, big number 71, and Bryant Dacus producing, I'm Brett Norsworthy. We want you to join us at 901-360-8255 at the text or phone line, the AutoZone text and phone line. Get in the zone at AutoZone. Picks over the weekend. Are you ready, Gabe? You know the verdict? Did you keep up with yours at home? Did you play along at home?
I was 4-4.
4-4. Did not win either lock or shock. Bryant Dacus, 5-3.
Oh, no.
One lock, did not win shock. David William Woloshin, 4-4.
Okay.
Lost his lock. Northwestern won the point spread with the shock and was about to really shock the world with Tulane plus the 31.5, but they did not win straight up, so he did not get double points. Old Brett, 6-2.
Good start.
Lost the lock. Mizzou,
long season.
Mizzou didn't get there. Won the shock straight up with Penn State plus the 5.5. They win straight up 16-10. I had them winning 28-24. Good enough, close enough. So I get 5 points. So I lead with 5 points. Bryant's at 2 points. Dave and Gabe at the bagel at 0 points. But it is a long year.
What was I thinking? With my lock last week? Illinois -5.
Texas San Antonio, look out when they come to the Liberty Bowl September 25th.
They're a really good team.
And I said, Tiger fans, you need to start that scouting report with Brett Bielema's Illini against the Roadrunners of UTSA. Did you catch any of the Penn State-Wisconsin game, Gabe?
I did not actually get to catch any.
Uniform beauty.
Oh, it's a fun game.
Oh, the uniforms though. It won my uniform matchup of the weekend. It was plain.
The plain, you like the plain.
Oh, I love
traditional.
I love you. I'm a pretty plain guy. You know
what
that.
What do you think about the Ole Miss Baby Blue? Or
Really
Powder
like.
blue.
I like him.
Love the helmet, and the youngsters like it. So I like it, but I prefer the more traditional look like Wisconsin and Penn State paraded out there. What upset grabbed you from the weekend?
The upset that grabbed
Nationally?
me the most, and I felt I shouldn't be overly surprised by this, but Vanderbilt. Okay, you can't even score an offensive. You can't score
an upset.
Score a touchdown against East Tennessee State.
Well,
Clark Lee.
The Vandy program. This is all self-inflicted too. They didn't support Derek Mason, and poor Clark Lee now.
And Clark Lee, I hope that defensively he can get it together. I think he's a great defensive coach. I also think Derek Mason was a great coach too, defensively.
I do too, and didn't deserve that treatment.
But
they felt so bad, kind of going all in and having some blowback from James Franklin.
My hope that as his tenure gets going, they can get that defense at least competitive. But 23-3 to an FCS opponent, not even scoring a touchdown, and I thought Ken Seals would be all right, but that was bad.
Iowa 34-6 over Indiana. We talked about that earlier, setting up game day going there. I saw Reese Davis yesterday and made the lobby for Arkansas, Texas. He said, "You're not going to win." He said, "We're headed to Ames." And Texas had a really good win over Louisiana. A lot of people had that on upset alert. Not even close. Steve Sarkisian 1-0 at Texas.
Another one I think might have saved a former coach of mine's job. Virginia Tech over North Carolina.
In a great game Friday night. Can Virginia Tech win enough games to keep on for Justin Fuente to keep them at bay, winning 17-10, 21-17, 24-20?
Well, what do you think? At Virginia Tech, you can win 7-8 games and have a top 25 win or two and keep your job. Generally. Now, granted, their expectations got dramatically higher over the Frank Beamer years, but I think 7-5, 8-4 with a good win on your schedule keeps you your job.
Former Memphis Tiger assistant Clay Helton, always pressure packed in that job in at USC. He wins 30-7. There were people saying, "Look out for Nick Starkel in San Jose State."
So how about this? Good question here. Who's the best? And kind of a hard one. Who's the best team in the Pac-12?
Well, they have three good teams to choose from
Oregon,
right now,
USC.
and they might have another one develop as the year wears on. You've got Oregon clearly, and this weekend a big national matchup
and UCLA
against Ohio State. UCLA's earned the chops for sure for right now, and USC both historically and with the decent start. I tried to start Friday doing the impossible, defending Ohio State's win over Minnesota. I thought a 14-point win on the road in the Big Ten against P.J. Fleck, and you're down in that game, and you're starting a new freshman quarterback. I think that's pretty good,
What's
Gaddy.
wrong with it? Minnesota's a senior-laden
team. Criticized it, Twitter.
Of course, but it's a senior-laden team. Tanner Morgan's a pretty good quarterback, been there for a while. P.J. Fleck I like as a coach. I had no issues with Ohio State winning by 14. They covered.
I had no issues with
covered.
Oregon only winning by 7 over Fresno. I think Fresno's decent.
They're a solid team, but Oregon,
solid. That's a good term.
Talent-wise, has been the cream of the crop in the Pac-12. They've recruited better than USC. They've recruited better than UCLA. I expect more out of them in regards to beating a team like Fresno State. And if they're going to be touted as the most highly ranked Pac-12 team, I think they need to cover in that type of game. And here's the thing, and I brought this up with Johnny a little bit earlier. Has Mario Cristobal ever done it for you? Has he ever been the guy where you say, okay, this guy this year was a top 10 coach in the country?
The answer is no, but the recruiting keeps me interested.
Right, it does every single time. But he's had very good
and fired in a previous head coaching job.
He's had very talented teams. I don't necessarily think he's underachieved all the time, nor have I thought he's overachieved all the time. I think he's just a very blah, in my opinion. And it sort of turns me off of Oregon.
Need a little more pizzazz with him?
Yes, a little bit. Just a little bit.
Kind of less
more.
Miles Light.
I guess. I guess.
Okay. I went too far.
We don't need to go the last mile.
Should have stopped right there.
Not today. It's only a Tuesday.
It's like my hallway banner. Just stop while you're ahead, right? Gabe Kuhn in with me today. Bryant Dake is producing. Dave will be back with us tomorrow. J. Morgan Harder also helping out today, as he always does. When we come back, don't think we've left out FSU and Notre Dame and Mike Norvell talk. We will talk a lot about that with our next guest that covers the ACC quite extensively. Last year, Notre Dame, the champions of the regular season in the ACC. We talk college football, AAC, ACC, and SEC every Tuesday at 4 o'clock with our friend Brent Beard down in Jacksonville. That's next.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Nothing's worse than starting trouble. Well, we can help you out. We can start with a free battery test. That way, we'll know if your battery is causing the issue. It could be your starter, it could be your alternator, and you don't want to waste money on the wrong fix. And if you do need a new battery, we've got you covered with a wide selection of replacement batteries. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Brent Beard joins us on Tuesday afternoons to talk college football. Primarily, he covers the SEC, the ACC, and the AAC, and all three of those had a lot to choose from over the weekend. The AAC had one of the worst weeks in the history of conferences, both with teams being plucked away by the Big 12 and then on the field. The ACC, not much better on the field. The SEC, real good, except for the LSU loss at UCLA and the Vandy loss at home to East Tennessee State. But we want to start with Brent Beard talking about Gabe Kuhn's college, one of his two college coaches, Mike Norvell, in a classic on Sunday night against Notre Dame in Tallahassee. Emotions high over Bobby Bowden, emotions high over Mackenzie Milton's return. It was like the whole weekend in college football, Brent. It was like out of a movie.
It really was. Let me say real quick, I just saw where Sam the Bam Cunningham has passed away.
I haven't seen that. I'm sorry to hear that.
It just came out in the last few minutes. Tremendous USC running back who
brother of Randall as well.
That's right. Listen, I would say without hesitating, and Coach Bryant mentioned this more than once, is how he changed where Alabama football was going when they came in and just ran over everybody basically at Legion Field. I know you remember that.
I do, and I remember Coach Bryant's quote saying he did more in one night than any federal judge could do in any decision.
He sure did, because after that, Alabama started signing black players, and Brett, if I remember this right, that score was like it was only like 24-14.
No, it was bigger than that.
It
was bigger than that. That was a few years later in the 70s. No, it was 42-17 or something like that.
Yeah, that's right, or 21 or something like that.
42-21, I think that is it.
Yeah. But you're the quote is straight on because he did. So prayers for his family. But boy, what a player!
He was a player. Were you at that game?
At the FSU?
No, at the USC Bama game as a youngster.
Yes, I pretty well went to virtually every home game they had in the 70s.
Brent, you'd never believe where I slept Friday night. I left here at 6 o'clock trying to get to Atlanta. Discretion being the better part of valor, not pushing it all the way in. Stopped and got me a room in
Jasper, Alabama,
home of the Vikings, home of the Beard brothers. I stayed at a Select 8. I said it should be renamed a Select 4. But for $82, what are you expecting, Jasper?
Well, look, all you needed was a good night's sleep. Well, would the term "no frills" describe what you were?
You know what the lady told me when she gave me the rate? She said, "Hey, $75 in tax and HBO." I said,
There you go.
All right, Gabe, I know you want to talk about FSU and Notre Dame. Ask Brent what you want to think.
Brent, are we going to look back at that game and it's sort of the transition for Mike Norvell? Do you think that they're now going to be back competitive in the ACC?
I certainly hope so. They were dead in the water. They were behind by 18 points, and we certainly thought that it was over. As a matter of fact, I was at the television station when we were getting ready to do a late report. We have what we call a sports final at 11:30, and that game started tightening up, particularly when Milton came in. And listen, here's the thing about Milton coming in. He may have never come in except Jordan Travis lost his helmet. Mm-hmm. It had to go out during a crucial drive, and Milton started throwing the ball. Now, look, Jordan Travis will eventually be a pretty good quarterback, but if Milton can play that way, they need to keep him playing. But he just brought you've heard that expression, where quarterbacks make everybody around you better, and that's a lot of what happened. So the thought process is, can they garner the momentum from there and spread that across the season and be a lot better? I thought the game was, and you guys know it more than we do or longer, I thought that was
Gabe knows him better than anybody
of the culture that Mike Norvell is trying to establish at FSU. That unlike previous regimes, they're not giving up. They're going to fight to the end, and it was a tremendous ball game.
The ACC, the new ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips, he ought to bar me from any ACC game the rest of the year. I go Saturday night on campus at historic Bobby Dodd Stadium, and I was pulling hard for tech for my friends and the people and their friends around us. They lose 22-21 to Northern Illinois on a last-second 2-point conversion with it. They had the kickoff, and then Tech had a desperation 65-yard field goal attempt. Those never work out. What do they think? Russell Erksleben and Steve Little and Van Tiffen are walking in the stadium? I mean, that's not going to happen. And then last night, I saw Louisville. I was shocked at both of them being on the smaller end and Georgia Tech not being very big and not very fast. Louisville, better speed, but not very big. It was a rugged weekend for the ACC. If Clemson could have won, I guess they could have flown the banner a little higher and a little more proudly.
Well, but they sure didn't. The 6-6 overall and 0-4 versus Power 5 schools. So, and I'm glad you brought up last night, above and beyond the targeting calls, Ole Miss, I thought, looked really good at times, really impressed with the defense. But that's a really good point, where's the league going over the next few weeks? And for the season, with Louisville losing, with Miami losing, and I know it was a conference game. North Carolina getting beat didn't help the situation either. So it was a very difficult week for the ACC.
And we know that Justin Fuente, one of my former coaches, like Mike Norvell, he's on the hot seat still, I think, depending on what he does this year. But me and Brett were kind of talking about this in the segment before you got on. What do you have to do to keep that job at Virginia Tech? I said 7, 8, have an outlier where you have 9, 10 wins, and beat a top 25 team or two every year, and I think you could keep that job.
Which pretty well Beamer did that on a fairly consistent basis until the end of his tenure. And look, I mean, you can't convince me in that area where they're located, with population and so forth, that they can't draw in players. But the problem is, to these modern players, they don't know about Frank Beamer as much. I mean, I know they won't. That's right. They walk through the football buildings and they see his picture and all that, but because they haven't done that much at this point, that makes it harder to recruit. But boy, they were. But I'll tell you what, if you were a recruit at that game and that atmosphere in the fourth quarter, you couldn't help but be impressed.
Right. Brent, the classic matchup of the weekend was Clemson and Georgia at a neutral in Charlotte, a mostly Clemson Tiger house, but a lot of Georgia Bulldog faithful there. 10-3, really old-fashioned line of scrimmage, rock'em sock'em football. That Georgia front really had it going all night against the Clemson offensive line. DJU had a long night. JT Daniels not much better. He really did not. But Georgia gets the win. And for Clemson, there's not the level of Clemson fatigue nationally like Bama, but it's not far from it.
No, and that's why. And I'll tell you what, though, after their performance in the playoffs last year, and then to lose this game, that's difficult for them. I mean, they ran for 2 yards, had 180 total yards, and listen. I'm guessing that Clemson offense probably thought there were 20 Georgia players on the field. It seemed like it at that point. But the question now is, and I've heard this from different people during the day, well, all Clemson's got to do now is run the table, and they will be in the playoffs. I guess I think it's too early to say that right now. But will look? I know you can't count what happened last year, but maybe you stretch the imagination. But I'm just wondering if Clemson sputters and that continues. How now they should be given credit for playing Georgia, and look, and they've still got a chance to tie that game or even go ahead in one possession game in the fourth quarter. Where that will sit with that committee as the year goes along.
And you mentioned the 2 rushing yards. What I can't stand to see is 7 sacks, and the O-line just looked outmatched. I get it's Georgia, but to just get absolutely dominated the whole game like that just didn't seem very Clemson of them on the offensive side of the ball. Can they go? And I know you could say just yes. Do you think they will go unblemished in the ACC schedule?
Not unless they can. I mean, their offense has got to be better. But I mean, in fairness to them, I mean, my goodness, there aren't many more Georgias on that schedule, is it?
No, there is not. There is not.
No, Georgia, they had to win that one, or Kirby was going to really hear it.
Yes.
But he got the win, and now they don't play again regular season for a long time. And I think, Brent, even though it still works in some places, in Dallas, in Charlotte, in Atlanta, I don't think you can have 2 of those games in a weekend like Atlanta tried to have. I think you're going to see just one, and the fans are begging for those kind of matchups. Be on campus. Give me something for my season ticket value.
Well, I think that's what we see coming. And it's funny you said that, Brett. I was sitting there thinking last night, watching that game at 11 o'clock or whenever that was. I thought, good grief, when is Brett going to get to go to bed? But not Brother Brett, but you, Brett.
Thank you.
And if they'd have played that game yesterday at 3 o'clock, I think they may have had a bigger crowd for that. But your point is a good one. We're going to start seeing that they're not going to do away with them, but they've got to go to more home and home. And I think future schedules, bringing in Texas and Oklahoma, that's going to do a lot for these home and home schedules and playing those 2.
Brent, last Thursday night, college football weekend started on Wednesday with Bill Clark and UAB, and then on Thursday night, Gus Malzahn with an impressive comeback win for UCF in the AAC over Boise.
They were dead in the water. UCF was early on. I mean, throwing that pick 6 certainly didn't help, but and then they had the typical state of Florida lightning delay, as we often do in this state during September. But it was they did right the ship, come back. I mean, look, there's an audience down there ready for that school to be much better. Going to be fascinating to see where that goes at this point. But that was certainly a highlight. And look, the conference needs UCF to be good again, do they not?
I think they do. I think they
even
absolutely
on the way
do.
out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think about Gus? What do you think about how he can do at an AAC school? I know a lot of people sort of have the thought of, oh, well, he's coming from the SEC. He's stepping down a level. He's still getting paid rather heavily. Those guys don't tend to do all that well. You look at Dana Holgerson. He's a guy very similar. But what do you think? Do you think Gus can have some serious success there at UCF?
Well, here's my thing with Gus. As famous coaches have said, you're what your record is. And the reality is, Gus's last 5 and 6 years at Auburn, they averaged 5 losses a season.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing about it is, and Auburn beat writers would tell you this, Gus was not able to develop a quarterback, even though he's got this quarterback whisperer reputation. And for whatever reason, and as one of the Auburn beat writers have told us, he was unable to recruit offensive tackles. So will he be able to change that when he's at UCF? And look, also to be honest, Kevin Steele bailed him out on many occasions. But in fairness, you've got a new start. You've got some energy again, which is obvious. Can he go down there and do better? I think a lot of that is going to be not just dependent on his offense. I think it's going to be dependent on what he can do in rebuilding that defense.
Brent Beard, our guest, talking college football. If you have a question for Brent or a comment, please text us at 901-360-8255. That's the AutoZone text and phone line. Get in the zone at AutoZone. The always perfunctory, other than Bama, what SEC team impressed you the most week one?
Well, obviously, to me, it would be Georgia's defense. I won't say the entire team with that. Now, I'll give you an answer that probably a lot of people may not say, but I would say Kentucky. Even with the you think about the opponent. Regardless of that, Will Levis gave the Penn State transfer gave them a passing attack along with Wandale Robinson, the Nebraska transfer. Tell me the last time we saw Kentucky throw the ball, pitch and catch the way they did.
Dusty Bonner, maybe?
Between Lynn Bowden and Terry, I don't think they threw for 367 in a season.
They were glorified running backs.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And listen, I hope this game catches some steam as the week goes along. Guys, this Kentucky hosting Missouri game.
Throw the record books out.
Is a major game Saturday as far as for implications for that division.
Winner certainly should be ranked in the top 25.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly should be. Another what? Ole Miss this weekend. I want to pose this to both of you guys because obviously, Brett, you're on the radio team.
I just signed off a few hours ago.
Did you see enough? Did you see enough defensively to think that this team could be an 8-9 win team?
Brent, you go first.
Yeah, I did. Frankly, look, when now, do they have a ways to go? Yes, they do. But they held, and this Louisville team is Brent hit it. I mean, they're a middle of the pack school, but in some ways that's not a bad team. But they held them to 355 yards, and I think even most importantly, they held them to 4.6 yards per play. Brett, correct me, but I just saw them being able to be lined up where they needed to be. They didn't always make the play, but I think they were in much better position to do it this year than they were last year.
Well, that's DJ Durkin, and on the field, and a lot of that's number 44, Chance Campbell, in the middle. He's the quarterback of the defense, and he had a really good night. Yes, I think it is better. Yes, I think it is deeper. Yes, I think it is faster than last year. I know they're lined up better, but also I want to see it as it gets into the SEC. And that's another thing about, just getting your brains beat out last year. That was against all SEC. It was no time to improve any of those defensive numbers at all last year. Brent, you don't have us on the burner phone, do you? I heard another phone ringing.
Unfortunately, like everybody else, I've got about 3 or 4 phones, and I try to silence them when I'm doing radio segments. Sometimes I just don't get to them as soon as I need
one, and it's hard enough to keep up with.
Yeah.
Brent, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend, this coming weekend in the SEC? Arkansas and Texas Saturday night. You mentioned Kentucky and Mizzou. I guess you're really looking forward to that. There's your two leagues, or two of the leagues you cover really closely. Durham and NC State against Leach and the Bullies.
Look, Mississippi State had a very improbable comeback. Frankly, I mean, there really wasn't anything that State did well in about the first three quarters.
But they won.
But they came back in the fourth quarter, with their hair on fire. Will Rogers playing well. Now look, they still had to have some help, guys. I'm sure y'all have seen it. I don't know if that ball was tipped or what, but they could have lost that game on a last-second field goal. Instead, they survive, and they really are able to go from there. So that's one that I really want to
21-point output in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, yes. And look, I would also say I think this Tennessee Pittsburgh Johnny Majors Bowl attracts some interest within itself, as does A&M in Colorado in Denver. Look, A&M's got the better team. But you go on the road, you're in that altitude.
Old Big 12.
Old Big 12 match.
Could funny things happen there?
Yeah, it sure could. Brent, we'll talk about it again next week. Enjoy this week. Last week was 10 out of 10. Hope this week is the same.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks much.
Thank you. Brent Beard with us every Tuesday afternoon. Now, tomorrow, normally we have Barrett Jones with us at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. He's going to join us at 4 on Thursday and flip-flop with Keith Smith talking NBA this week. When we have Barrett on Wednesdays or this week, like on Thursday, it'll be brought to you by Belly Acres. I made a beeline from Atlanta straight to Belly Acres at Regalia today when I got back. Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations: Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours, Sunday through Thursday, 11 a to 9 p. Friday and Saturday, 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Regalia, Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere, and the fries. The burgers are so great, like the Dare Ya. That's what I had today, or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team they've developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings and a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres is to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis. Burgers, shakes, and smiles at Belly Acres. A&M in Colorado, that would be an upset. And that would really, I'm not talking about honeymoon ending and certainly not job security status. Mm-hmm. But that would have the complexion on things with Jimbo quite different.
Oh, 100%. I remember watching this game, though, growing up every single year, and it used to be a relatively fun game. Both teams used to be middle of the pack in the old Big 12. But, yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm very excited for that one.
And A&M with Haynes King at quarterback, I think he'll be better. There was a time that game Saturday against Kent State was uncomfortable for A&M.
When? What are you
at 13,
at the beginning of the game. I thought you were talking about in the past for some reason. I don't know. I didn't know what you were talking. But yeah, no, it wasn't always sunshine and roses in that one.
Central Michigan gave Mizzou a pretty good challenge. You like that Mizzou-Kentucky game coming up this week, and the job done by Mark Stoops at Kentucky. He just keeps chopping wood, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And if Will Levis can throw for 300 yards consistently, that's a scary SEC team. That's a scary team.
The last great Kentucky passer. They've had him since Couch.
Who were even?
Woodson was good. Dusty Bonner was good. I'm trying to think of a real big time thrower at Kentucky. Since Tim Couch, he was probably the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Lorenzen, hefty
that's what
lefty.
I was going to say. But since
Maxwell Smith had one great game against Ole Miss that stunned even his family.
Yeah, I can't think of one that recently that really blew me away throwing the ball.
And Saturday night would be a good quarterback matchup between Mizzou in UK.
Ought to be. I like Connor Bazelak. I really do.
Any upset alert for UAB going into Athens?
No.
Even with the COVID scare that Kirby's talking about today?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about a forfeiture or something, then maybe we could talk about upset. Maybe we could say that's an upset, but no. I don't think UAB has the horses to be able to keep up.
AAC, Memphis at Arkansas State Saturday night in Jonesboro, East Carolina and South Carolina, Oklahoma State and Tulsa. How interesting. How interested.
Always relatively interesting. Last year was a close game, but this year Tulsa, and I know UC Davis is a relatively good FCS program, but that threw me off. Oklahoma State week 1 didn't do all that. Didn't blow anybody away, though, did they?
No, they didn't. I think they are so miffed about all the conference realignment and being left out.
23-16.
Dauber could be really down at Oklahoma State right now.
We will see. That might be intriguing.
North Texas, SMU, local game for them, similar to Arkansas State and Memphis.
Tanner Mordecai, by the way, did you see
Player
him week 1?
Mm-hmm.
7 TDs. 7 TDs. He looks good.
And if he has that kind of year, and Spencer Rattler comes up a little short, and I didn't think he was great against Tulane, they'll be wondering if they kept the right guy. I know we're going to have the right guy. The debut of Jeff Moore talking the NFL with us. He started on this radio station on these airwaves in 1992, discussing the National Football League with us, with George, with Dave, with me, whether it was morning or afternoon. It continues, and it comes your way next.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Napa, the more Valvoline products you buy, the more you save. It's like the quantum physics of deals. It doesn't really make sense, but somehow it works. Save $10 when you spend $40, $15 on 60, or $20 on 80. So no matter what multiverse you're living in, you'll be saving money. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. At participating locations does not include state and local taxes and recycling fees. Advertised sale price may not be available in some states. Rebate restrictions apply. Offer ends 9/30/21.
The NFL is back, and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Who doesn't want to win $200 on just a $5 bet? New customers, you'll get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just sign up today with promo code BIGHEAD, and you could win $200 on a $5 bet, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
I thought we were done with this.
Say it, Petey.
Don't call me Petey.
We're back, baby, doing Central Barbecue commercials.
This is very exciting.
Reminding everyone that there are 4 locations, all with that perfect Central Barbecue, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue.
You know, you don't really need me for these.
No, I want you for these. We're a team, you and me, telling the world about the best ribs in Memphis. Maybe the best ribs in the world, Central Barbecue ribs.
See, you didn't need me to do that, and don't call
Petey,
me.
Central Barbecue spots wouldn't be the same without you.
I think they would.
You know you love it, and there's no better barbecue than Central Barbecue.
Hey everybody, it's Rick Earwood, and you know in my day I've bought several homes, and nothing can be more overwhelming and time-consuming than trying to secure financing. Let me steer you in the direction of Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage, a guy that's been originating loans for 25 years in the greater Memphis area. Tommy does all products, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA. Maybe you're wanting to stay in your home now and just refinance. He can do that as well. So hey, go ahead, give Tommy a call at 901-335-7308. Get your pre-approval so you'll know what you can spend, find your home, and then pack your boxes and get ready to move. It's that easy with Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. Call him today at 901-335-7308. Once again, that number, 901-335-7308. Tell him Rick told you to call.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
One of the nicest people I've ever been around is our next guest, Jeff Moore, talking the NFL with us. He started in the same year that I started with George in 1992, and he's been with George and Dave and George, our Dave, and Brett for all of these years, and he starts talking NFL with us. He played high school football at Hamilton High. He played college football for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he played in the National Football League for the L.A. Rams. Jeff, I want you to meet co-hosting with me today, Gabe Kuhn. He's with us. He played for the University of Memphis Tigers over the course of the end of Justin Fuente and the beginning of Mike Norvell. How you doing, Jeff Moore?
Oh, I'm doing great. Great. Thanks. Great to be with you, Gabe.
And it's always fun to talk with Jeff. When we last were talking to you, Jeff, we were talking about the upset. I have that in air quotes here of Tom Brady defeating Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, that was, a classic game and just a fitting end to what was just an incredible season for Tom Brady, getting the Bucs turned around. And, you know, they come back this year with, I guess, the first time that we can remember that a team has returned all 22 starters, which is really hard to do in this day and age. It says a lot about the kind of buy-in that Coach has developed down there in Tampa, and I'm looking forward to seeing them Thursday night.
Do you think the Bucs have more of a stranglehold on that division and have a better chance? I mean, have a good chance to get back to where they were last year?
I do. I do because, you know, they're a team that comes into this season with a tremendous amount of confidence. Tom Brady and the rest of that offense, you know, they had to kind of learn each other. They've had a whole off season together to get on the same page or to continue to be on the same page. And that defense is stellar. I think, absolutely. I think they will continue. There'll be some challenges. I like Green Bay. I think they're going to be really good again. And I like the Rams. I think they upgraded their quarterback. I think Coach McVay finally has a quarterback that can implement the kind of things he wants to do in that offense. And I think the Rams are going to be dangerous too.
Jeff, I said upset around Tom Brady. Other than that first one against the Rams, the great Mike Martz team, no Super Bowl win for Tom Brady since that one's been an upset.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean, just the bar is so high for him.
Exactly. So, Kansas City comes back. I think they're going to be formidable like the way they were last year. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how their offensive line is able to protect Patrick Mahomes, because that was the biggest challenge or biggest question mark for them going into the offseason. That's something that still needs to be demonstrated on the field, that they can give him the kind of protection that they need to be successful. I think the Chiefs are going to have a tougher gauntlet in the AFC than I think Tampa at this time is going to have in the NFC. But the one great thing about every season is, of course, you just never know how it's going to turn out when the players start to play.
Well, you don't. And even in that Super Bowl, Kansas City, I'm sure they'd like to redo that thing with all their offensive line intact, Gabe. You know so much about that. And I thought the Super Bowl week, the off-the-field story about Andy Reid's son impacted them a bit. So you answered my next question, Jeff. I was going to ask you, of those two, you can only take one that you would guarantee to be in Super Bowl 56. Would it be Bucs or Chiefs?
It would be Bucs for me. I just think that the Bucs have demonstrated, obviously, what they can do with the winning. But, their team, I think, is just a great combination of youth and experience. I love that. I think they've got one of the best coaching staffs in the league. Those guys are tested. I just think they just bring a whole lot more to the table. And I think the AFC is going to be a dogfight. I frankly think I felt like Buffalo was playing better. And when they faced the Chiefs, and I thought the Chiefs were just fortunate to be able to win. They're a great team, obviously, with Patrick Mahomes, but I think they're going to have a tougher challenge than the Bucs are going to have.
Where do you stand on the Browns? Right, I think when you look at their roster,
my Browns, my team for this year, Gabe.
When you look at the roster, it's honestly I can't. It's hard for me to find another roster that looks any better than that. But the Browns seem to brown.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, Gabe, I love the Browns. I absolutely love the Browns going into this season. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be better as a quarterback. I think he's got the right coaching staff around him. And what makes them, I think, so formidable is they run the ball very well. And the fact that they run the ball so well really opens up that passing game. I think a healthy OBJ is going to help them be more potent offensively. I really like the Browns, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Browns take it off. The challenge for me with the Browns is, of course, the division they play in.
Right.
The Steelers, they have a
the Heisman Trophy division.
Yeah, exactly. And, the Steelers are formidable. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be formidable. So that's the biggest challenge for the Browns is in their division. But in terms of the AFC, I mean, they're one of my top three favorites in the AFC, along with Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cleveland is probably my third team.
We'll get to your AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, and your Super Bowl 56 teams and winner in a bit. Jeff, every year, excuse me, you know how I flip-flop on teams because I really don't have an NFL team, but I like the Browns.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the Browns and the AFC are going to be a fascinating team to watch, to see, how they advance from what they, winning that first playoff game in a long time was just a huge, huge monkey off their back. They're a good team. Their defense is really good.
Very.
And I think they're going to be a formidable team in the AFC.
I'm very, very curious to see defensively what they come out and look like. They went and got Greg Newsome with their first-round pick. Denzel Ward's still there. They went and signed John Johnson. They're just stacked all over the field. But you did talk about the Ravens being one of the teams in their division to be afraid of. How concerned are you, though, with their running back depth with losing J.K. Dobbins? They just lost Justice Hill today to an Achilles injury, and it looks like Gus Edwards is going to be their lead back, and they're going to have to go sign somebody. How concerning is that for the Ravens?
Very much so. I think that was a huge loss for them because the way that their offense is designed, their passing game certainly is more effective when they're able to run the ball well. And of course, we know what kind of X factor Lamar Jackson creates for most defenses. But it sure would have helped them to be able to have J.K. Dobbins in that lineup to just make it more difficult for defenses to play against them. I think that's huge to them.
Jeff, you almost can't do an NFL segment without asking about America's team. Cowboys going to be any better this year?
They are. I think they win the division this year. I think they finally start to play up to their capabilities with the return of Dak, if they can keep him protected. I think they're a good football team. In their division, I don't see, certainly Washington having the year that they had is going to be a team that they're going to have to deal with in their division. But I think the Giants are still probably a year or two away. And I think Philadelphia is not quite there yet. The Cowboys, to me, have the best team in that division, and I think they're a formidable team in the NFC. But it's all kind of predicated on how well Dak responds to that, having gotten over that injury.
Yeah, and I'm very curious about that whole division Because last year it was the Washington football team sneaking out of it, even though they had so many things go wrong in the offseason. And then Ron Rivera had his cancer treatment, had his diagnosis. Right. Then he got over it, and they still somehow pulled it out. Every team they were only separated by 2 games, I think, in the division. So that one is close to me. But the Cowboys, they have no excuses this year not to go win that.
They don't.
It's the anti-AFC North. It's not near the division, the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns. And I think the toughest divisions, NFC West, Rams, Seattle, San Fran, and Arizona.
No question. One of my teams that's kind of a darling team for me this year is in the NFC West, and that's Arizona.
Right.
I think they take a big step this year, with the addition of J.J. Watt. I think it's going to make a difference on that defense. They're a team that was knocking on the door last year. They're just a player or two away from being able to get over the hump. They have a decent running game, but I do like Arizona. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
All right, Jeff, let's do your picks. Let's start with you start what you would like, either AFC or NFC championship game and winner, and then the other one, and then the 2 Super Bowl participants, and we'll talk about those picks. You go where you'd like to go.
Okay, well, in the NFC, if we're going to the championship game, the 2 teams I would expect at this point are going to be Tampa and Green Bay to end up the final 2 teams, and I like Tampa going back. I just like that. I don't see any defects in that team.
44 years old. That's a lot of birthday candles for the quarterback. Need a fire extinguisher for his birthday party, don't you, Jeff?
You absolutely do. But what can you say, man? He's the GOAT.
He sure is.
And
undeniable, unarguable, isn't it?
I think the thing that he's brought to that team that's so awesome to watch is not only his play on the field, but the belief in being champions. And that's huge. That's huge, especially for an organization that struggles. So let me jump to the AFC. The AFC, to me, Buffalo and Kansas City is what it's going to come down to. Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Buffalo back in a Super Bowl.
There we go.
Win one for Marv Levy. That'd be okay, wouldn't it?
It would be. It absolutely would be. But that's the team I think will come out of there.
All right, pick me a winner. Buffalo and Tampa Bay, Super Bowl Sunday in Los Angeles at Stan Kroenke's $5 billion palace. Who wins?
I got Tampa for the first time in a long time, back to back.
He's got to ride off in the sunset, doesn't he, if he does all this?
He does. Well, you never know. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back.
And it was the quote about the one that cracked me up. When I think I can't be a championship-winning quarterback, then I'll retire. Well, when is that, Tom?
93?
Golly.
No, I was talking 2093, Jeff, not 93.
That's past 50, Tom, at this rate.
Hey, listen, I think Peyton got it right in his Hall of Fame speech, right?
He did.
When he was talking about when Brady would be eligible for retirement, right?
That's right. Jeff,
in 2030.
It's great to hear your voice. You started with George in 92 when he left REC and came over to WHBQ, and I started right about that same time. We've kind of paralleled with each other here. It was great to hear your voice today, and every Tuesday now through Super Bowl 56. Thank you so much, my friend.
I look forward to it.
Thanks,
Take care.
Jeff.
Bye-bye.
You got it. Jeff Moore with us every week talking football. He played in the 80s for Johnny Majors at Tennessee when they had two-a-days and there was no protective jerseys on, Gabe.
And he's about chalk there with his AFC and NFC picks, huh?
I like the Buffalo. Right. I like the Buffalo pick to be in the Super Bowl. I don't know if many people are going that far. Hey, if you're craving the commissary barbecue and you're craving an easier way to order, this is how you do it. CommissaryBBQ.com. or text commissary to 33733. 2 M's, 2 S's. Text commissary to 33733 to get all that great food from either location, like the new Collierville Commissary, Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown, Memphis-style barbecue. Ribs so good, the authentic Memphis-style way. That means slow. Start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate, or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings, fantastic. All those appetizers you could have as the entree, but save room for the entree. Get the ribs or the shoulder, a big sandwich, or you can get it on the plate. Comes with all the fixings. Save room if it's possible for dessert. Best lemon icebox pie anywhere, and the banana pudding, outstanding. 901-754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown for tailgating this week. To head over to Jonesboro for the Arkansas State game. Make your first stop before you cross the either bridge at either commissary in Collierville, at the new one at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown for Friday night tailgating, Saturday tailgating. Before you go to the Grove on Saturday, make that first stop at either commissary. Thank you so much, Walker Taylor, and I know you were proud of your Tigers starting 1-0 this year like Gabe Kuhn is, and so many people are, and looking forward to the Tigers getting back home after Arkansas State to host Mississippi State on September 18th. We come back, a little more AAC and SEC talk. 901-360-8255, the AutoZone text line, the AutoZone phone line. Get in the zone at AutoZone. We're back with SEC and AAC talk.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Hey everybody, it's Rick Earwood, and you know in my day I've bought several homes, and nothing can be more overwhelming and time-consuming than trying to secure financing. Let me steer you in the direction of Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage, a guy that's been originating loans for 25 years in the greater Memphis area. Tommy does all products, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA. Maybe you're wanting to stay in your home now and just refinance. He can do that as well. So hey, go ahead, give Tommy a call at 901-335-7308. Get your pre-approval so you know what you can spend, find your home, and then pack your boxes and get ready to move. It's that easy with Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. Call him today at 901-335-7308. Once again, that number, 901-335-7308. Tell him Rick told you to call.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight. shipped exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you back in. Gabe Kuhn in with me today. Dave will be back tomorrow. Today he is out in observance of Rosh Hashanah. He will be out a week from Thursday for Yom Kippur. Gabe Kuhn, Bryant Dacus with me today. Gabe, Saturday, late at Arkansas, got a text from a friend of mine in the stadium, said there were some boos Saturday. Sam Pittman and honeymoon can't be ending.
Really? Why?
They ended up winning 38-17, pulled away from Rice. It was uncomfortably close for most of the day.
Right, but that Arkansas team is coming from a place, and I'm telling you, you can't expect that thing to be turned around in 2 years with what Chad Morris did to that. Chad Morris did some borderline irreparable damage to that program.
Sure did.
As far as recruiting goes, as far as bringing in his guys from SMU, brought in Ben Hicks to try to play quarterback, and what Sam Pittman's done in 2 years. I mean, come on, no. Booze cannot be accepted, not yet at least.
And recruiting well right now. You go to the recruiting rankings, and they're in the top 15, 20 easily in all the major recruiting rankings. 38-17 for the Razorbacks over Rice. Different test this week from the old Southwest Conference against Texas.
Yes, it is. Last time they met, though, I believe.
Bowl game 2014.
I believe that Arkansas handled their business, did they not?
They did, and the last time they played in Fayetteville, but for a late Matt Jones on a hot, clammy, sweaty night, Matt Jones fumbles. They're driving in to win the game in 2004 after beating them in Austin in 2003.
I'll say this. If I know Barry Odom at all, and I think I do,
I know you do.
But John Robinson will be the main point of emphasis this week. Load the box. Don't let them run it all. So we'll see how it goes. I think Arkansas has a chance.
Gabe, I see some teams when you should have the old load the box mentality. I don't know if some of them get that. That means get everybody up there. I see people kind of wanting to halfway load the box.
Well, yeah.
You either do it or you don't.
Well, with the way we throw the ball nowadays, I don't understand. I get why people sort of halfway do it. You got to keep yourself on it. You can't let people throw over top of you. But I imagine that he'll have a good game plan going in there against Texas.
The Ole Miss running backs. Which one did you like the most of the four that played last night?
Snoop, for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop
high school quarterback.
He runs the ball.
Can you imagine that?
He runs the ball like his hair is on fire.
Yeah,
Brad.
he does.
It's
that
violent.
last one was that was not nice what he did to that poor guy.
he was quarterback at one school in Hattiesburg, and at the other one was John Rice Plumlee. They were big high school rivals, and I think their senior year, Snoop put it on him.
Yeah, but I like all those backs. I really do. I mean, what about you? Okay, well, you can. I don't know if you can pick. Can you pick favorites?
Sure I can. I think Ely gives you a little more because he gives you something in the return game and made a great catch last night.
Maybe a little more explosive.
With body control that looked like a receiver. Like that was his natural position, and it's not. He's going to stay at running back, but they can always keep a fresh one in there.
Right. But and
Henry Parrish, Bullock, real good.
I like, I'm an old lineman, so I'm going to like any guy who runs as hard as Snoop Connor does. But there's something to be said for Ely's big playability and the explosion he could possibly have this year.
Do you have a favorite?
I'm with Gabe. I think Snoop Connors was terrific. That was probably my favorite of the night.
In the offseason, I just don't think if people realized it enough that last year the Ole Miss led the SEC in rushing.
They did last year?
They said that on the broadcast last night. I was a little shocked.
For the first time since 1962 when they did it 3 straight years in 60, 61, and 62.
Dontario Drummond.
A little different football than 1962 now.
Yeah, Dontario Drummond, the guy The guy last night, and catch of the year. 9 receptions, 177 yards, a TD. Do you expect him to be the Matt Corral target, the Elijah Moore target of this year?
No.
Or could it be spread around? Braylon Sanders?
I think it's going to be by committee. And late in the game, I leaned over and told one of our spotters, I said, I want to see Braylon Sanders get a little more here at the end because I don't want him getting detached. It's always been something that's kind of derailed him, mostly injury, but I want him getting his catches. But you have to know that receiving room, it's going to be mostly by committee.
Yeah, and I expected, but maybe I was wrong for expecting it, but I expected Braylon Sanders to be the lead guy this year just because he's been there.
I think he's
for
thinking
for quite a while now, and he has built up a reputation and built up a relationship with Matt Corral. So I expected him to be that guy, but Dontario Drummond was unbelievable. And not to mention, after the catch last night, he was fun.
Jonathan Mingo with a good after-the-catch run down the sideline. Laquan-esque in that catch in the Ole Miss win over Louisville. When we come back, all NFL with Bo Marchant. We picked AFC last week. We will pick NFC this week, and we'll let Super Bowl picks fly for all of us. That's coming up to start our third and final hour on this Tuesday. You're listening to Sports Time.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you. When's the last time you played a Memphis City golf course? You will love what you see, I promise. If you have not played Galloway, Audubon, Fox Meadows, or Pine Hill lately, or the links at Whitehaven, you are in for a treat. With summer here, the grass has popped, the conditions are terrific, and this year Memphis City Golf is really concentrating on competition. If you love amateur competition, there will be a Galloway, Audubon, Fox Meadows, and Pine Hill Championship, all leading up to the Pub Links and the Hillman Robin. And ladies, you've got amateur championships too. And if you're a junior, the place to be is the Links at Whitehaven. There will be camps all summer long. Go to the website, moms and dads, if you would like to enter your child to learn from the pros how to play golf. And wait till you see the renovation at Overton Park. And soon there will be a redo at Pine Hill. Memphis City Golf, a sporting tradition for over 100 years.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get them both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system, and we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure you're ready for those cold winter nights. If that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, electric service company this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spice Wing, located at 4265 Hex Cross Road near 385. The menu offers a variety of all-beef hot dogs with over 20 choices. Try some of the best-selling favorites like the Bacon Wrap Memphis Dog and even sausages like Street Polish, Italian, or Jamaican Jerk Chicken. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 10, and Sunday, 11 to 8. Catering and event hosting is available. Have your next meeting or family gathering at the Original Hot Dog Factory. Now hiring team members. Apply in person. The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spice Wing.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter it in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Dave will be back tomorrow. Gabe Kuhn in with me today. Bryant Dake is producing. We will be joined by Beau Marchant momentarily to talk the National Football League, and we'll have our NFC picks. We picked AFC last week, and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers against the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. You can hear all that action right here on Sports 56 on AM and FM, all the NFL action all season long right here, and a busy Sunday coming up for us as well with NFL action. The NFL, it's back. FanDuel Sportsbook celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Who doesn't want to win $200 on a $5 bet? Everybody wants to. It's no Hail Mary. It's that simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. The app is so easy to use. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. I know neither of these teams are going to the playoffs this year. No picking these teams. But Sunday, I love Jacksonville laying the 3 over Houston. Might be the 2 worst records at the end of the year, but there's value there for the Jags on Sunday, minus the 3 over the Texans. Number 1 rated sportsbook app in America. Easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's number 1 sportsbook. They're always hooking you up with exclusive odds boosts, great promotions, and so much more. Just sign up with promo code CASH, and you can win $200 on a $5 bet. That's promo code CASH exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. Bonus for Tennessee users. Fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. A gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Beau Marchant from collegetopro.com momentarily after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour. And they are every day. They are year-round. They've been with us for years, and we appreciate the great people on Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales. Visit their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com. They're at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184, where they are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper on limited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. You're treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why they care about your time. Test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, all in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee. It's that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and look at the cars and check out the many, many happy referrals they've had through the years. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Coming up Thursday night, the start of the 102nd year of the National Football League. He talks the NFL with us every single week throughout the year. America's #1 sport. It deserves that kind of coverage. We get it from Bo Marchant, but this week is special, isn't it, Bo?
Oh yeah, it's nice, and we're somewhat normal fans in the stands. We texted earlier, covering the games. I'm sure it was about as normal as you can remember it being as well. So NFL's back, college football's back, and fans are back, and I think those go hand in hand. They make each other great.
Real quick, you cover the Steelers. What's the situation with T.J. Watt right now? Is he going to be back at practice? Is he going to be playing?
Tomlin said during his presser today that he hopes that he's there game day. He talked possibly Wednesday. Getting a contract done. I don't know. I mean, the Steelers are famous for this. It's usually a little bit. It's during training camp. They've always kind of made those extensions during training camp. I mean, and I thought the Watt deal would be done at least during training camp, but it's kind of held to this point. I would say something gets done from now to Sunday. What his ability would be come Sunday and all that other things, I don't know, but I would be a little bit reminiscent to think that he would not be signed by Sunday.
And he ought to be the highest paid edge rusher in the league, right, when he gets this new contract.
Yeah, he's going to take that mantle from somebody else who currently claims it. And, if you cover the team and you see how Watt's kind of developed, he is a special player. But, but you got to make plays when they count, just like his brother.
Right.
You got to come up in big games. And there's some harsh critics of TJ as well, saying, hey, when we need you most, sometimes you kind of
I've been one of them,
but,
Bo. You know that.
Yeah.
Gabe, I have been a great player. Going to stroll right into Canton, no doubt about it. Tell me that big game he's won. Tell me that big sack he's won in a big playoff game, Gabe.
I can't.
There
I
aren't
can't
many.
tell you one.
Now, I agreed with Jeff Moore in the last hour. We had NFL analysts.
Team game, though.
It is very much a team game, and he will help the Arizona Cardinals. Who's the better Watt right now?
Oh, you got to go with TJ. Yeah. I mean, JJ's had his time, and now it's TJ's time to shine. Watching him develop, since day one in Pittsburgh, I mean, he's been fabulous, and he's, matured into arguably, the best edge guy in the league, and that's why I assume when this contract is done, he will be the highest paid. I mean, he changes
for both
the defense.
Of y'all, is TJ Watt just filling out the back of the football card for his strolling into Canton someday, Gabe?
I mean,
need a little more.
He's headed that direction. He's going to have to have a couple more years here, a few more years here, string together some years of the similar production as he had last year. But I could certainly see it.
Bo?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he continues at this level, yeah, I mean, he could be a decade type player at the position. I mean, you're talking 10 plus sacks, and he'll kind of carry that on. And the Steelers have done a good job of scheming things where he's going to be successful, and the Steelers are at their best when they have that. You go back to the James Harrison, LaVon Kirklands, the Kevin Greens, etc. When they're rushing the passer with those defensive or with those linebacker edge guys, that's when they're the most successful, and that's why they had Bud Dupree. I mean, I think the 4 or 5 drafts. I mean, they went linebacker every year, so they know linebacker. That's their wheelhouse for that defense to go. Everything is predicated on those guys being at their best. Devin Bush, Bud Dupree,
right.
T.J. Watt. I mean, Sean Spence was a mid-round guy. But that is the way they like to do it, and T.J. Watt's part of it, and that's why I don't think this is going to be something that this contract issue lingers into past week one. I think this is done rather quickly.
So one of their division mates, the Ravens, they run that very, very run-heavy zone read scheme a lot with Lamar Jackson. They've done it the past few years with 3 running backs, Mark Ingram with J.K. Dobbins. Justice Hill even got some of that, but he tore his Achilles today. Gus Edwards the past couple years has been involved in that rotation, but that rotation has dwindled badly. J.K. Dobbins hurt, Justice Hill with the Achilles injury. Now they're going to try to bring in a vet. I believe Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell worked out for them. Is that a scary thing for that offense in Baltimore?
Gus Edwards has filled in admirably. When Mark Ingram missed time and J.K. Dobbins had to step up last year, Gus Edwards has kind of always been that go-to guy for them. And they feel comfortable with Tyshawn Williams. That's why they kind of elected not to sign somebody when J.K. went down. Well, with Justin Hill's torn his Achilles a few days ago, that changes the whole dynamic of probably what they were planning. That's why they're having these running backs come in. I don't know, and I read the same reports. I've been trying to get a little bit updates.
Right.
I know if Bell is actually going to get in there, but Williams and Edwards are, they're both 6 foot, 6'1", 225. They're basically the same type of running back. It'd just be a little bit odd that they don't have a little bit of a change of pace type guy to kind of change the flow of what they want to do. I mean, it'd kind of be like, they're successful running the ball. I mean, Lamar Jackson can do it. All three of the running backs last year had success. Their scheme and the way they execute it, anybody can have success in that offense, I think, running the ball. But I just think, another 6 foot 220 guy would be something that's a little bit off kilter. I would think that they might just want a little bit of and I'm saying not a third down Darren Sproles type,
right,
but just a little bit more of a speed back, somebody who can maybe just change the philosophy and change what the defensive coordinator sees. I mean, if you're kind of numb to seeing the same play, you might be able to dial in something to kind of stop it, rather than if you see a different number with a different set of abilities come in and change on what they're doing for the Ravens. But definitely a rough time for them in the backfield.
Bo Marchand, our guest, talking the NFL. On Sunday, you will be following closely the Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. You know the crowd will be back there, and you know how the behavior will be in Buffalo with the tailgaters, lookout tables below. That will be a physical football game. When your quarterback runs it as much as Buffalo's quarterback runs it, you know that's not misdirection and not being physical.
Yeah, it should be a good game. And I think I mentioned earlier on another time we talked this particular game, Ben Roethlisberger has always had his struggles. His career record is pretty dismal. I forget the exact numbers, but overall, when Ben plays the Bills, he just really doesn't play well. They played there last year, and he had another bad game. The offense was non-existent, and that was part of that tumble at the end of the year where they were kind of unable to kind of rally and get back in front of what they needed to do best, and that was win football games. But this, I think there's so many things that have to go in the Steelers' favor to win this game. I mean, it seems like the Buffalo Bills have poised themselves as one of the dominant teams of the AFC. I think the Steelers are trying to kind of hang on to that title as one of the top tier teams in the AFC. I don't really know if they're there. I mean, that would be a big statement game if they can go to Buffalo and walk out of there with a win. But I think that's going to be a tall task. I think Buffalo is just a little bit more offensively gifted. I think Allen's at the top of his game. Defensive backs, and we talked about the Steelers' offensive line. The secondary is going to be a big question mark, and Stefan Diggs and Cole Beasley and company, they're going to be ready to roll. I could see Josh Allen having a rather big day.
And I think the Bills are going to win the AFC East easily, probably run away with it. But one of the ongoing stories in the AFC East right now is Mac Jones winning the job over Cam Newton. Cam Newton getting released. With Mac Jones as the quarterback of the Patriots, can they stick around and at least play for second this year?
I do. I mean, when we did our AFC picks last week, I had the Patriots making it, and I love what Mac Jones said today. The starting job, it means nothing if you don't perform, and that's such a level-headed answer by such a young-minded kid.
Exactly.
I mean, I got this title, but yeah, you can name anybody the starter. You throw 2 picks in the first quarter, guess what? You're not the starter anymore. So they're going to be Josh McDaniels has done a fabulous job, regardless of even last year, as bad as the quarterback play was. They did everything to make them the best team they could be with Cam Newton absent of the passing game, and they ran the ball. And I felt bad for Cam at points last year because we knew his body wasn't his best asset, but yet the Patriots kind of relentlessly had him just run the ball and take a beating, right, and almost be a running back. And I felt bad, like. He's a competitor. He wants to win, and I admire that. I probably admire Cam Newton. Out of all his years, I admire that the most because you just figure this guy, he knows his body's not in the best place. He's carrying the ball more than some running backs on certain football teams. So, but Josh McDaniels, we know that if he has the personnel, he can put the ball up. Tom Brady and his 50 touchdowns, and when he set the world on fire with Randy Moss, or they can ground and pound it, and they can run the football just like Woody Hayes back in the day with Ohio State. So. Josh McDaniels, I mean, head coach-wise, we know he didn't have much success in Denver, but as that coordinator in Foxborough, he's one of the best.
And Mac Jones just fits the play-action style, turning it off and handing it off 20 times a game. Honestly, even watching Josh McDaniels call plays in the preseason, he looked more comfortable when Mac Jones was in the game.
Well, you know why? I think it's because he can open up more of the playbook. I mean, they were one-dimensional with Cam Newton under center. You know, now you have a quarterback where you feel free that, you know, absent of mistakes, that he can execute this play or make this pass or, you know, do certain things that, again, with Cam Newton under center, that just wasn't a possibility just to the lack of limitations or the limitations that were lacking from Cam in terms of arm strength and getting that ball downfield. We saw the same thing with Drew Brees in the playoff game last year. I mean, I think if Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston play that game, I'm convinced they win it. They could not push the ball downfield. Todd Bowles is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. He just had to be sitting there laughing to himself like, look, we're playing Drew Brees and they can't throw the ball 15 yards or, you know, right. Everything's basically inside the, the first down markers. That's all you're playing. You don't have to worry about anybody going deep. And lo and behold, you know, the Saints, they had a fantastic year. I mean, you know, they've won the NFC South, I think, the last 4 years, more games than anybody in the last 5. But, you know, just Drew Brees wasn't able to go, just like Cam Newton. And neither one of them are on a team right now. So that kind of just shows you where they were at their last game last year.
I had an Atlanta Uber driver who was from New Orleans tell me Jameis Winston is going to win the MVP this year.
He could. I want to put it past
Taxi cab confessions in the Uber.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Bo, let's start with some NFC picks. We did AFC last week. You start us off.
All right, let me just, before we go on, let me tell you, this is one of my favorite parts of the week coming on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. But as I was doing my NFC notes today, I like by about 4:30, I had a headache, and by 5:30, I was like, you know what, I'm going to call Brett and tell him I can't come on.
A lot of scratch-outs, huh?
Yeah, I just...
You were going to swing and miss?
You know what, I wanted to say everything I wrote down was exactly how the teams finished last year. And I know that's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have exact same finishes in each division. So with that said, I'm convinced that the Packers or the Bucks or the Rams are not going to make the playoffs. I don't know which one of the three, but I'm convinced one of those three will not make the playoffs. Again, I'm convinced of it. Doesn't mean I'm right.
All three make it, and they're the 1, 2, and 3 seeds.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's why I'm not seeing that's part of the dilemma. That's why. So, so go NFC East, and again, it goes exactly except against what I kind of wanted to say. I do think Ryan Fitzpatrick is such an enormous up, you know, in terms of Alex Smith and his injuries, and then Dwayne Haskins. They have been so lacking at quarterback, but Fitzpatrick, I think he can really push that offense. The defense is going to be wicked. Yep. And then I have Washington 1. I have the Cowboys 2, Giants 3, Eagles 4. And strength of schedule, I mean, it favors the NFC more than anybody.
Everybody,
so,
copy and paste for me.
Bryant?
I got the Cowboys at number 1.
Oh.
He's a Cowboy fan. There's one in every crowd, isn't it, Bo? The Washington defensive front.
Unbelievable.
It could be, I mean, it could. That front and that defense, that could be 85 Bears.
It could be special. And then, you know, Jameis Davis, the rookie they took, I mean, he looks promising. So, yeah, go ahead.
No. You continue. That's what I was going to mention is that Jamin Davis, too, coming in there alongside Cole Holcomb, who had a good year last year. That front seven is I mean.
It's something.
If it ain't one, it's top 3.
It sure is. All right, the NFC North for you, Bo.
Oh, you guys are people are going to turn off the radio after this. I'm going upset. I'm having the Bears win the division. I'm having the Packers second.
Dave's not here today. You don't have to do
that. I know I don't have to do it. I'm actually glad he's not here just because he would have probably thought I was messing with him, but I'm not. You know what it is? I think the Bears are a better football team than they were last year, and they were 8-8. I did the numbers. The Bears and the St. Louis Rams each scored 372 points. Sean McVay is supposed to be the offensive guru. Nagy's, you know, we can consider him the biggest farce of a head coach in the league, but they both had 372 points. That's kind of hard to imagine, especially how bad the Bears were.
If the Bears are going to win the division, they got to go to Justin Fields then, right? At some point.
I think that's
early.
Yeah, we know that's
week 2.
By 1:30 Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is not Andy Dalton's not getting a comeback player of the year, and he's not going to resurrect the Chicago
Nobody
Bears.
ever said Dalton magic.
No. I got Bears, Packers, Vikings, and Lions.
Bold, Gabe.
I go Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions.
Bryant?
I'm the same as Gabe.
Packers, Bears, Vikings, Detroit. For
No
me.
Lions this year? You're not riding with the Lions this year. Jared Goff
Browns
doing
are my
it for
team.
you?
You know that.
Yeah, the Browns are his team.
The
Come on,
Browns
Gabe.
have always been my team, at least since June 25th. Bo, I've never had an NFL team. I love people that are so dug in with it. I just never have. And I do. I want to like the Titans, and I do. I picked them in the AFC, but not for that reason. All right, to the South, NFC South. And I think it is one of the most heated, hated divisions in all of sport. And people don't appreciate it, and I can tell you why. That Southern college football influence on that division. They know hate in the South.
Yeah, well, I could not stand putting the Bucs at number one. It goes against everything that I believe, but I have to put them number one. I put the Saints number two. I put the Falcons 3 and the Panthers 4. But I really think the Falcons and the Panthers, we know a lot of teams, and I have the 49ers doing it. A lot of teams go from worst to first. I just think the Panthers or the Falcons, when the team does go worst to first, I mean, the Bears did it, the Eagles did it and won the Super Bowl. Prior to that, nobody would have thought, the Eagles that finished 4-12 are going to go on to win the division in the Super Bowl. But I just think the Falcons and the Panthers, new coach and Arthur Smith, Matt Rule's second season, Christian McCaffrey back. I just think they could be sneaky teams. But that said, I still have the Falcons and Panthers third and fourth. But I think that division specifically, and the South, I think that could be the strangest one out of all four.
Gabe, then Bryant.
I go Bucs, Saints, and I just switch Panthers and Falcons. Panthers third, Falcons fourth.
I have Bucs, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. Is that what you had, Gabe?
Yeah, that's what I had.
I have Bucs, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Carolina. The Uber driver, he couldn't get me where I wanted to go, much less telling me Jameis is going to win the MVP. I mean, he was badly lost. To the West we go. Bo.
I got the 49ers. I have the Cardinals, the Rams, and then the Seahawks.
Gabe.
Are they doing, real quick?
Yeah.
49ers, are they going to win the division with Trey Lance or with Jimmy G?
Or both?
I think if Jimmy G doesn't get hurt, I think he'll keep the job. But
and
they're going to be my worst to first team. They're the team that goes worst to first in the division.
And if he gets hurt again enough to really impede his success, what I said would happen to him or could happen to him is on that fast track from Rex Grossman on Super Bowl Sunday on a defeated team to being kind of a punchline.
It has been bizarre, though, to see the way Jimmy G has been talked about this offseason.
Great ball player.
I know he's injured, but he can play ball when he's healthy. For my West, I go Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, and believe it or not, in last, I have the Seahawks.
Me too. Wow.
Pete Carroll in last. Bryant?
I have the 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
Toughest division to pick. I think the best quarterback division in football. Coaches that have had success except for Cliff Kingsbury, and if he doesn't get it done this year, Coach McDreamy may be on the way out. I go Rams, Seattle, San Fran. All right, Bo, jump to your NFC championship game and the winner.
My NFC championship game is the 49ers against the Saints, with the 49ers winning it.
Gabe.
I have Rams, Packers. I have Rams winning it.
Wow. I have Rams, I have Rams, Tampa Bay, with the Rams winning it. Bryant.
Wow.
I'm going Bucs, Packers, with the Bucs winning it.
Bucs, Packers. That was last year's game up on the frozen tundra. So, Super Bowl winner, your AFC team from last week, Bo, against your NFC winner. I'll go first. I've got the Rams winning the Super Bowl over the Tennessee Titans. When the Titans went to their only other Super Bowl, it was against the Rams in another city. And 2 years in a row, the host on Super Bowl Sunday, it's the winner. The NFL went forever with it never happening. Happens 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I got the Bears and the Niners, and I'm going to give the Buffalo Bills their first Super Bowl, and that city will be one of the happiest in America.
I love it. I would welcome it.
I have Rams, and I have the Chiefs, and I have the Chiefs winning.
Bryant?
I've got the Buccaneers and the Bills, and I have the Bills winning.
Hurry up, no
Bills.
huddle. No, the Bills. Very good. Hurry up, no huddle offense here. NFC Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. Bo.
I got Dak as MVP, NFC Rookie. Ooh. I got Justin Fields and Coach of the Year. If the Bears are going to do this, I got to go with Nagy.
Gabe?
Coach of the Year, Ron Rivera. Rookie of the Year, Justin Fields. MVP Player of the Year, A-Rod.
Bryant?
I've got Coach of the Year, Cliff Kingsbury, Rookie of the Year, Micah Parsons, and MVP on a comeback season, Christian McCaffrey.
That was close on Micah Parsons.
MVP for me, Matt Stafford, to propel the Rams all the way to the Super Bowl championship. Rookie of the Year, Justin Fields, and I love him. I said it on draft day. He was the best quarterback in the group. And Coach of the Year, Memphis' very own Arthur Smith in his first year with the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons make the playoffs. And I would be fine by that. Bo, I know you can't wait till Thursday night. You can't wait till all the action this week. I will be texting you, and we'll talk about it again next Thursday. And all these picks sure to go wrong.
Hey, well, listen, I can't do any worse because I think the last 3 years I haven't even picked a team that made the playoffs. I'm supposed to win the Super Bowl. So as much as I don't like any of my picks, maybe that's the luck that I need to actually be right for once.
Great stuff, man. Have a great week and enjoy, Bo.
Stay safe, gentlemen.
Thank you. Bo Marchant talking the NFL with us. I like the Buffalo Bills picks. I said this a couple summers ago. Summertime Radio, Drew and I did a list of, I didn't mean it literally, the biggest sports loser town in America.
Oh.
It's Buffalo, isn't it?
It's got to be.
It is.
And I'm not, but I meant lovable.
Right.
But NBA got out of town a long time ago. The Sabres have never won it. Never won the Stanley Cup.
They were terrible last year.
Bills went to how many Super Bowls there?
The Buffalo Blue Jays last summer didn't do well when they played there.
Oh man,
that'd be okay story, wouldn't it?
That would. And I don't mind the pick at all. I think that's a very good pick.
I love Josh Allen.
And I didn't believe in him at first. That's the weirdest
Not
thing
at all. Dave did. Dave first identified Jimmy G in his Super Bowl run, and last year with Josh Allen, and I was skeptical of both. I'm just scared to death of a run-first NFL quarterback, but I don't know that he's that. He can play in the pocket.
Yeah, no, he can. Last year showed that, but his first year, it was run. I mean, he would – anything – any opportunity showed itself, he was sprinting out of the pocket.
I think Arthur Smith's going to be a big-time NFL coach. I mean, he might just be what Atlanta's always waited for to get a title. When we come back, we'll look at what's trending from around sports, see if we've missed out on anything else in all this football talk. We do that after the break. You're listening to Sports Time.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, wants you to beat the Mid-South Heat and head to the Emerald Coast. Southern is the easy and convenient way for Memphians to get to Destin. Want to spend some time on the lake instead? Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass any delays and take one of Southern's flights to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Short flights and popular regional destinations like Arkansas's festival city of El Dorado and Harrison, Arkansas, the gateway to Branson, each have daily nonstop flight options from Southern Airways out of Memphis. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. So if you're planning a quick weekend getaway, be sure to fly Southern Airways. Visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight to exclusively FedEx. When we put them in nice packaging, we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Visit Frontier Western Store this summer to check out tons of new products. Frontier added so many new items in their women's boutique. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops, jeans, and pants in stock at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. There's no one around with a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear. Wrangler and Ariat clothing also available. Frontier recently remodeled their entire store and expanded the world-famous boot showroom. Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. After Ariat boots, then you've got to check out Frontier. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots alone, and thousands more in other brands such as Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. As if the selection isn't reason enough, there's Frontier's low prices. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so when you're ready for your next pair, you know right where to come. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Okay, what NFL prediction that we just made sure to go wrong, Gabe?
Sure to go wrong?
Of any that was made. Just what got, when you heard it, you thought, that's goofy. It's not Buffalo winning the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't think my picks are goofy, so I'm going to have to pick one of y'all.
I was glad you jumped in the Ram boat with me. I thought I was going to be out there in the middle of the Pacific by myself with that one.
Yeah, I'm the only thing, I think all of us, did we all have Seahawks dead last?
Yes.
And then NFC
No,
West?
I had Seattle second.
Okay. Well,
me, you, and Bo did, though.
I got
think
Coach McDreamy as last.
Yeah, since 3 of us agree on the Seahawks being last, that's sure to go wrong.
Yeah,
they'll be first.
Definitely.
All right, I want to ask you guys, much younger than I am, combined age may not hit mine. I don't think it does it? No.
Probably not.
Doesn't total up to 59, does it?
No.
See, I finally turned the Al Guy burger this year,
guy.
59.
How old are you, Gabe?
No, okay, we're a little less.
We're
less. We're
yeah.
almost there. We're almost
Did
there.
y'all like, as a viewer, as a consumer, did you like the Georgia-Clemson game?
I didn't get to see it.
No.
Would you like that kind of game if you had to sit in front of and watch a 10-3 game?
If we're being honest, no, because I wanted to see some good quarterback play. I like JT Daniels. I like DJU, and I wanted to see them be able to play quarterback, and I just didn't get to. JT struggled, and DJU couldn't stay upright.
They were both just kind of trying to defend themselves.
But what I didn't really like is the fact that I think DJU caught a lot of flack for how he played in that game, and I guess because of the pick six, it was sort of accentuated.
And it bailed out
but
JTD.
And we mentioned it earlier. I just think he didn't have a chance the whole night to do anything.
See, I thought 34-17. That was my score Friday for Georgia winning the game. I thought that was low, and then up jumps 10-3. I didn't get to watch any of it.
Right.
Well, a nice lady in front of me, she had it on her phone, and I was peeking over her shoulder at it. She was a Georgia Tech fan that also loves Georgia. That's rare, and vice versa. And so I was watching, trying to watch it a little bit like that. But I need a little more than 10-3.
Yeah.
I need a lot more than that, especially
how
with
much more, Gabe? What's your wheelhouse in the what? The 20s,
I
30s,
needed
40s?
I needed 27-20. 27-17, something, just get above 10.
See, 28-27 used to be a score fest. And now teams are just sneezing and doing that. Brian, what's your trading range?
I think it's around there. I think when you look at kind of that Penn State-Wisconsin game, I think that was a little more enjoyable because they're two Big Ten teams. You know that Big Ten is known for their defense. But, yeah, it was a real low scoring. I think mine's more 24-17. Is that what you said, Gabe?
said
Yeah.
27-17, 27-20.
Yeah, something around there.
Because there's still defense being played. You're still getting stops. You're still getting turnovers. But you just don't have this nasty offense.
Yeah, I don't want like a 52-45.
It's just that, yes. I'm okay with that. Let me be honest with you. I'm
That's
fine
true,
with
yeah.
that.
I
have no issue.
I don't want that either. And I don't want 52-45 in college basketball either. I want more than that.
I have no issue with the high scoring game. Well, maybe that's because.
See, a few years ago.
That's all I did.
That's true. If you'll remember, a few years ago, the Patriot win over the Rams at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, that was 13-3.
That was ugly, too.
And the next day, everybody crushing it. And I said, I didn't mind it because that's what we used to get it, but nobody wants that anymore.
But it's different than what it used to look like. At least when you're running the ball, when you're running the wishbone, when you're running these different offenses from back in the day.
Now, they didn't run the wishbone.
Well, whatever.
But
they're running.
Yeah,
they're getting 3 yards. They're getting 4 yards. They're gaining yards. Nowadays, if you're not scoring points, it's a bunch of incompletions.
He used it wrong, but they are matriculating the ball down the field. Hank Stram was right. That's horrible use of the real definition of that word, but I know what he meant. They were moving it up and down the field, even in run-heavy era.
Right, but now it's just, I mean, three incomplete passes, get off the field.
All right, Gabe, I want to run this by you. Forever, and I'm still worshiping at the shrine of the rushing statistic in the box score in college and in pro football. A long time ago, I gave up on it in the regular season in pro football as the direct link corollary to winning. The most important thing in any box score is the final score. It doesn't matter what the rest of that is. That's just all word salad, the rest of it. But there's a link forever in football to the team that wins the rushing total. Team that wins the run, stops the run, that more times than not's the winner. It's moved away from that regular season in the NFL. It has for a long time now. Come playoff time, I still think it's the holy grail when you get into weather and you get into rock'em sock'em games. College football, I'm staying with it. Every year I say in the SEC, it will end up somewhere around 75, 76, 77%. Never much more than that, but never low. Always in that tight trading range. Last year was the first time the team that won the passing stat even got close to it. Rushing only won 75% to 74% last year in the SEC. Now, here's my new one. I rolled it out last night in Ole Miss pregame. Here's one you got to look at now in college football. The team that punts the most, that's your loser. You can't go out there and punt 6 times and the other team only punt twice and you win.
No, you cannot. You cannot. And we count stops. I've said this a billion times. In a lot of these games, in the SEC and the AAC,
14-0 this weekend in the SEC.
You are counting stops. It's not about how many points.
We're not trying to outs.
We're not trying to hold them to 14 points anymore. Get 5 stops. Make them punt 5 times. You win the game. That's what it's become.
The defensive team room goals have really changed.
I like that.
The total offense. You like that game?
I like that a lot.
Oh, I want you to like it. 14-0 this weekend in the SEC. Like in UCLA and LSU. LSU punted much more than UCLA. UCLA won the game. The team that punted the fewest times in games involving the SEC this weekend, 14-0. I'm going to start rolling with that.
I love that. I really do because
it was 100%. And years ago, I had someone challenge me on the rushing statistic that it didn't mean anything. And at that time, it would always win about 75, 76, 77% or so to 60 and 61 and 62%. And I told him, I said, I think you're a pure fool. And he was. And I said, would you walk out of this door tonight and you had 2 routes home tonight? One is 75% safe and the other one's only 60% safe. Now, which one are you telling me you would take? Only a fool would take 60% safe route home over 75.
I want to go back now. This is made me wonder over my games at the University of Memphis. I want to go back and see how successful that equation that would be.
If you can wait till next summer, it'll be my summertime work assignment. Can you wait till then?
I'll wait. All right. Oh my God.
And the Tigers won the rushing battle last week. Last year, I think the Tigers out of 12 games They go 8-4 record-wise, and that's what it was rushing-wise last year. 8-4.
Yeah, and you mentioned the NFL, though, too. The NFL, it does in the playoffs, running the ball and stopping the run.
Matters.
Stopping the run is massive. And you look at it last year. But I think we're almost moving away from that in the NFL, too. The NFL's being college – I don't even know. This is definitely not a word, but collegeified, if you will.
See?
Because look at the quarterbacks that are coming into the NFL now.
It is.
Of the first-round picks this year, Mac Jones is the only one that you look at and you say, okay, well, he's going to be handing the ball off, running play action, and sitting in the pocket all the time. All the other guys can run the ball, can escape very well. I think it's just changing. And a lot of those off-platform throws, getting into the scramble drill, that type of thing, that's where the NFL's headed. And you think about Patrick Mahomes and what he's been able to do, I feel like when you watch him play a game, I would say about 50% of the pass yards he gets, of the completions he gets, are in the scramble drill.
Yeah.
Just sort of getting off platform, going to make a throw to Travis Kelce, running back across the middle. It's not off his original, route or dropping back in the pocket and just sitting there. He's getting out of the pocket. He's trying to make those guys follow him, and he's delivering a good ball.
I won't say which team, but last night in the press box, and there could have been others ticketed setting out in the stands, but 24 of 32 NFL teams represented, credentialed in the press box last night for Ole Miss and Louisville. And I won't say which team. I might come draft time. I might let know the team as we get closer. And a lot of them there to see a lot of players, but a lot of them very interested in Matt Corral. And a buddy of mine that I know well and I can talk candidly with him was asking me about him. And I said what I believe, and it's all very positive. And I asked him, I said, are you scared of his height? His answer, that doesn't matter at all anymore.
Nothing. No. That has
doesn't
no
matter
bearing
at all.
How many? And also, when they were doing that, how many guys were 6'7", 230 pounds that failed miserably?
A bunch? Maybe not 6'7", but a lot of statues.
6'5".
Dan McGuire was the 6'7" guy that failed. Jay Schrader, Ryan Leaf, for a lot of reasons he failed, but he was a big 6'5", 6'6" type.
But 6'4" plus.
Yeah.
Like those guys, and it used to be a checklist item, and you had to have that. But there were so many that failed that it's just nowadays, if you can deliver a good ball, it doesn't matter how tall you are.
That scout was telling me, he said, I love that Corral always puts it in there catchable.
Yes, and he has a command this year. And just watching that game last night, he has a command this year that I haven't seen him unlock.
And remember, 2 years ago, opening day in that 15-10 game, his first college start, redshirt freshman, Ole Miss took him to media days just like they did this year. He threw for 91 yards, and I said it last night on our airwaves, against a great Memphis Tigers team.
Brett, that was an impossible situation for him to succeed in with Rich Rodriguez. Just to be honest, it was never going to.
It was coaching malpractice.
I thought
for that kid not to transfer is a miracle.
I have no idea. Well, I think we know why he didn't transfer. He
Jeff Levy and Lane Kiffin.
He saw the new guys come in. He said, "You know what? I'll stick it out here."
And he got to work. But that game, 15-10, he throws for 91 yards last night, 381, 2 touchdowns without a pick, and a real command of the offense. I know we need to hit a break a little bit early, so we'll do that now. When we come back, we wrap up this Tuesday afternoon with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Gabe in for Dave. Bryant Dake is producing. Stay with us. Taco Bell Crunch Time next.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Grind City Brewing Company is taking care of beerness in Memphis. Grind City Brewing is the dream of a father and son duo to create a brand that delivers a high-quality, great-tasting, and easy-drinking craft beer. And they've done it. The brewery sits high above the city elevation in uptown Memphis with 15,000 square feet of beerness, including a 5,000 square foot tap room. Grind City Brewing is committed to all things Memphis, including the Tigers. They have created a malt liquor called Tiger Tail that is the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. Tiger Tail comes in 16-ounce six-packs and is not your typical malt liquor. Tiger Tail is crafted with a bold and smooth flavor, has 7.5% alcohol, and its clean finish makes it incredibly easy drinking. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach, you didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. Too easy with the deal, we get insane.
crazy. This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream, loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Brett, what I learned today from a survey by the American Gaming Association,
Survey says?
unbelievable amount of Americans expected to bet on the NFL, 45.2 million. That's up 36% from last season.
Yeah.
And with all of the different books that you can go bet on.
Listen to our airwaves.
Yes, exactly. With all the books that you can bet on, with all of the different things that they offer, it's no surprise at all. And honestly, I could think it could be higher than that if we're being real.
And the standard proviso, if it's not for you, you don't think you can handle it, don't.
Right.
But for people that want to, I mean, it's out of the dark shadows, and it should have been a long time ago. That is a big number, though.
Huge.
I learned today college football came roaring out of the gate with the best opening rollout you could have imagined. Packed stadiums, enthusiasm, emotion, classic games. I got 2 college football games over the weekend, Georgia Tech on Saturday night, and then last night with the Ole Miss Rebels. Wish I could have been at 10 of them. The crowd that tried to kill college football last year, they missed. When you take a shot at the king, you better not miss. They missed. Thank goodness they did last year.
What I could have done without today. Gonzaga men's basketball coach Mark Few cited for driving under the influence on Monday night, according to a police report.
That. He's a really good man, too.
He is a very good man. But Monday around 8 p.m.
in
Idaho, in a popular vacation spot, police pulled him over. He was driving erratically and speeding, exhibited several signs of intoxication, according to the police report. And his BAC, .119 and .120, they tried a couple times. And he was
What's
over.
The legal limit
.08 still.
Yeah.
Same as here and in a lot of places around the U.S. But that stinks for Mark Few.
There was a time it was around 1-0, and a lot of prosecutors didn't want it going down because they think the prosecutors I knew said they thought that the repeat offender, it didn't matter what the BAC was.
And he's been around for so long. He's been such a good guy for so long. You don't expect him to be getting in any type of trouble.
No, you don't. I hate it from. I guarantee he learns from it. I guarantee he's the kind of guy. It'll be zero tolerance for him. He won't need a judge to tell him that. I could have done without another coach that had a tough weekend. It was poorly delivered from Brian Kelly. It was a bad joke that's 45 years old, and everybody's laughed at it for 45 years old. But the John McKay line about execution, he never said that word in it. He was just asked, what do you think of your team's execution? He deadpanned, I'd be for that. Everybody laughed. Everybody's laughed since he said it. He never used the E word in it. Brian Kelly delivered it poorly, but Twitter coming after him so hard because too many on Twitter thinks life began either with Friends and reruns and syndication or with Pokemon. Of course they were outraged. But that same bunch probably thinks, one nut that hypothesized that Memphis not getting in the Big 12 was because of diversity. That's not the reason.
You know what? I watched that live, and I saw what he said.
I did too.
And it was a little weird, but by no means did I think it would have the outrage that it did. But then you log on to social media and you go,
comes.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, granted,
is it over for him?
Yes, I think we'll move past it. I hope we move past it at least. What I'm looking forward to tonight in the MLB, Yankees against the Blue Jays. Garrett Cole's pitching. The Reds and Cubs, Wade Miley on the mound. The Reds have not been playing well. Lost 7 of 9. Cubs have won 7 straight. And the Reds have dropped down 1 game back in the NL
Padres back
wild
in there.
card. Padres are somehow doing. They're not playing overly well.
Padres Dodgers at one game, or that bench is clear, don't they?
They might have to.
Yeah,
Set the tone.
Yeah. Will any punches be thrown, or will just everybody run in and hold me back?
There's very few.
Nobody
Brawls.
wants to fight.
There's very few, and I put the air quotes up, brawls in the MLB that end up in
Big
punches.
air quotes. Nobody. They want to jog in from the bullpen, though. I love when if they really wanted to fight, couldn't they just meet in center field instead of jogging all the way in and everybody holding each other back?
If they wanted to fight, they could throw a punch.
Yeah.
I mean, they know what they're doing.
Nobody wants to fight. I'm keeping an eye on Tiger quarterback depth chart. Seth Hennigan, I think he's the guy, as I said earlier, until he's not the guy.
It actually came out today. Seth Hennigan,
He's
number
in there?
one,
Yeah.
and then Keelan Brown's listed as number 2. Grant Gunnell not even on the second week depth chart.
Interesting. NFL close to NFL kickoff. Only 2 more sleeps until season 102 kicks off. Cardinal fans, remember a few weeks ago, Bryant, when I said, do y'all really believe this is a playoff team? If it ends up being a playoff team, you know what that proves? Too many teams make the playoffs.
That is true, yes.
They're not any good.
you. No, they're
and they
not.
haven't been. Rays and Red Sox tonight in Boston. There'll be more than 7,000 at that game. Tony La Russa against Dusty Baker tonight, late in Oakland. That's 2 that no love lost. Also, the Padres, they need a win against the under 500 Anaheim Angels. Gabe, it has been fun being with you today. Thank you so much. Look forward to doing a lot in the days and weeks ahead. Dave will be back with us tomorrow. We want to thank Brent Beard on college football, Jeff Moore on the NFL, Bo Marchant as well on the NFL, and we will be back with you tomorrow. Dave will be back in then. For Bryant, for Gabe, I'm Brett. Everyone have a safe Tuesday night. No rocking me to sleep tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.
They've raised the